Good morning. It's the Big Man Morning Show, 918-460-KMOD. Can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Listen online, the website that rocks, KMOD.com. Past shows are available on iTunes. Search under BMMS. Listen with your cell phone. Get the iHeartRadio app, available from the App Store of your cell phone provider. More on that at iHeartRadio.com. And we're on Facebook. Facebook.com/BMMS69. That's where you can hang out with us each and every day. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Corbin.
Good morning, Gimpy.
Good morning.
We've got tickets to see Bert Kreischer, who's going to be at the BOK Center on Friday. It's available at BOKCenter.com. We got best and worst of the weekend. We got our listeners are awesome. Part of our Toast to Our Troops. And Jeff Hensley will join us. You got a question about divorce, custody, guardianship, name change, any of those things. Make sure you get those questions to us ahead of time to talk to Jeff about. The email address is show@kmod.com, or you can text it ahead of time. And we're toasting to our troops. We'll do that at 8. We want to recognize a veteran in your life. Every Monday, we'll be doing it. We want to highlight a local veteran. If we get them on the air, we're going to hook them up. Case Shinerbach, a dinner for two at Mondo's Italian Restaurant in the heart of Brookside. Toast to our troops from 97.5 KMOD. And, of course, us, the Big Man Morning Show. A listener sent me a message. We talked about this a while back, but the first person to ever receive a pig transplant kidney, a modified pig kidney, has died 2 months after.
Oh, no.
And I remember what I was talking about, and we were like, ugh. But the surgery team is saying, hey, from what we can tell, not our fault.
Oh, of course not.
Right.
Of course not. It was the pig's fault.
It was successful. He lasted 2 months.
Right.
I mean, that is a success. I mean, he could have died instantly, you know?
Sure. You know, I'm okay with glass half full.
Right. Technically, his body did not reject the kidney.
Usually it's a slow process. What's that documentary you and I watched about the throat thing and how long it took for people to die?
Yeah.
He was a con artist.
Uh-huh.
But, and I'm not saying that's what this is. They've been trying to figure out genetically modified pig parts for humans for a long time. Listen to this. This is the part that was crazy that I found when reading this. And that is more than 100,000 people are on the national waiting list for the transplant. And most of them are kidney patients. And thousands die every year before their turn comes up.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're trying to figure a better solution out.
I wonder how they get to that point. They're like, well, we could pull the kidney out of this pig and see if that works.
Exactly. I
We
think
could
that's
pull
exactly
a kidney out of this baboon and see if it works.
I've been talking with my children about, like, everything we eat or do, someone for the first time went,
Right.
here's an idea. Eat this kiwi.
Right.
It's furry, right? And so the same thing. Some doctor was like, I'm tired of not being able to get my patients kidneys. Well, what if we use the dog? No. Horse, too big.
Yeah.
You know, pig's pretty genetically close. Oh. Okay. Like the first time, do they go to their boss and go, boss, I got an idea.
Now, hear me out, man.
No bad ideas.
Right.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take his kidney out of a pig and put it in Frank over there. See if it works. Brilliant.
Right. Are you going to use one like it's been on like Charlotte, or are you going to,
Right.
or not Charlotte, right?
Right.
Babe or
Hey,
whatever.
Yeah.
Or are you going to use, you know, one that's we've raised in the lab, fed it all the right things?
I think with modern technology and the ability to 3D print organs, why aren't we just doing that?
Because also not sustainable.
I guess none of them really are.
Right? The problem with using pig organs to transplant into humans is the human biology attacks it and kills it.
Right, because it's like, whoa, you pig.
Foreign intruder.
Right.
Get out of my body, you pig.
But if you are with somebody that you love and they are in their nth hour, you'll do anything.
Except for donate your own damn kidney.
Well, maybe, but maybe they just weren't a match.
We're in a match, don't have one to donate. Right? Is a possibility. To me, this is the question is, who do you donate one to?
So far as like your friends or family or whatever, is that what you mean? Or just in general?
Some people are like, they'll donate to just anyone, right?
Yeah.
But then now you don't have one for like your family members.
Right,
Yeah.
right. In case they need one.
And this is the PR problem that organ donation has is how do you convince people to just donate and we'll deal. Why are you stopping saving a life for the possibility you might need it?
Right. I have a friend who was recently in a bad motorcycle accident. You two know about it. And that thought, because their kidney, one of them gone, and the other one's like trying to hold on, right?
Really?
So that thought had actually crossed my mind of donating. It crossed.
I will walk through that glass.
It crossed. That's where it stopped. It went from one side to the other. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Person
but the
doesn't
thought,
deserve your breath.
The thought did cross my mind just as being a decent human being. You know, I would like, if that was me in that situation, that somebody would do it for me. You know what I mean? But of course, they probably would do the same thing I'm doing and be like, well, what if I need it? What if I need it? Well, yeah, you could live without one kidney. Listen, Linda. I put my internal organs through hell every day.
Right.
So there's a good chance that I'm hold on, my God.
Again, back to the PR problem. Like, you can live with one kidney.
Sure. Are you an organ donor?
Yeah.
On your
Yeah. So if I died and there was anything worth, digging in there
Just
and
on the
getting,
weekends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't take my liver, don't take my kidneys, and you definitely don't want my lungs. Anything outside of that, you're good.
Are you an organ donor?
I am.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in that.
Same.
I think that is the least you can do. You'll be dead. But some people, religion-wise, it's just against what they believe.
Right.
Which is fine if that's what you believe, too. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think everybody... And you can't make people do it. And you have to wait for someone to die? Like, oh, God.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like you and your loved ones are literally sitting in the hospital, possibly going, I hope someone dies soon. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. And the people then that have to put the logistics in place to get an organ from spot A to spot B. I have thought about donating a kidney just to like whoever, right?
Right. Just like, here's my kidney. Anybody needs it, take it. Keep it on ice for now.
Yeah. But I'm in the same trap. Like, what if my kids need it?
Exactly.
Like, can I? Yeah, but that's not That's not really happening right now.
Right.
And the likelihood of it happening pretty small.
Right.
Can I test my kids now and know? I'm just being honest.
Good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, if I knew that I'm not a match for my children or my wife or my mom or my brother, yeah.
Right. You're a match for somebody else.
Sure.
Yeah. It may never get used. It may just be sitting there in the freezer getting freezer burn for decades.
No. It's a fast. It has to happen fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when you do a kidney donation, like a live one, you're in the same surgery room.
Oh, right on.
And they pick it up
right
and then
away.
go and put it right in.
Makes sense.
They don't waste any time.
You're talking about, talking to your kids about that first person, right? I'd like to know that first doctor that was like, hey, I got an idea. Let's go ahead. And then did it and made it work, right? How did they get to that point?
Oh, I totally envisioned this.
Yeah.
Like he comes out of the surgery room and he's like, takes his head apron. He's like, son of a bitch.
Right.
We lost him. And another one comes out and he's like, man, if we could just have a kidney. Ping.
Right.
Well, Bob,
right?
he just died of a heart attack, but his kidney is rock solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go talk to the family.
Right. And then how do they get the point to, we got to weld that thing back together, put it back in there. So whatever, I don't know, doctor stuff, dude.
Dude,
I am not.
I think doctors are amazing from that standpoint. When you read things of like heart surgeries that take like 12 hours.
Oh, God.
You're like, what? Or when they take apart conjoined twins and like they're fine.
Right, they survive.
The surgeries that happen for people that are blown up in war and the plastic surgery and everything, and they have all the appearance as if they haven't had half their body blown off.
Yeah.
You're like, that's insanely impressive.
Yes, they very impressive stuff.
I can't draw. And these people are putting humans back together.
Right.
Right. So next time you're at the factory and had to work a 12-hour day, think about the doctor who sat there piecing things together. Oh, God, it cramps my hands up just thinking about it,
Yeah.
Just working 12 hours in the same spot, standing over with your glasses. Some nurse comes up and pats the sweat off of your head.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's the thing, too, that I always laugh at when people try to decide what's wrong with them medically. And, like, you have doctors and I get it. The frustration with doctors is fair.
Yeah.
But that they go to school so much, have so much, just in the university alone, they already have dramatically more than you. Then they have to be in a facility for a certain amount of time, which is ridiculously more than you. And then surgical, they have to do surgery residencies for a dramatic amount of time before they're ever allowed to do it on their own.
Right.
And you're over there going, man, it's my elbow.
Right. Oh, I've got the internet. Come on. I watched a YouTube video.
Being a doctor ain't that great. There's this lady, so funny this morning I'm watching the news. For those who don't know, the Northern Lights they were really south. A lot of people got to see them. And this lady was like, yeah, I got to see them. And they're interviewing her. And she was like, it wasn't as good as in the pictures. Like one of the biggest natural phenomenons that happen that a lot of people don't ever get to see. And you're like, meh. The fact that they even they arrived this south, and people are like, it's amazing. The photos are crazy. They're surreal if you haven't seen them.
Yeah.
And then people like, meh. It's not like in the photos. No, that's
it's not.
probably true because those were taken in like Canada.
Right. And here you are in Florida.
Right,
Whatever,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, and you're like, it's pink.
Right.
Fine. I guess. I don't see what the big deal is. Why'd we say it late? It's just pink. I can draw pink. I looked up Northern Lights iPhone right here. Cooler.
Google image, click.
Right. Not like just the wonder of like, how is that even happening?
Right.
And the fact that it's like two massive astronomy events, right, are happening within such a short span of each other.
Yeah.
Is insane.
Say we're supposed to get another hit, but it's not going to be as good as it was over the weekend or whatever.
There was one the next night,
yeah,
but it was cloudy.
Yeah.
But yeah, solar weather. Who would have knew?
Right.
As a dork, I had no clue. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know like the dedication of people on the Twitter and social media. No idea.
Yeah.
There's apps.
Yeah.
There's apps for solar weather.
Who'd have thought?
And you don't have those apps.
No, I don't care. That's not happening. I mean, it's happening here, but it's not easy to follow. To me, I can look at the weather and go, color code, color green, color red. Right? That I'm like, what? All right, we got to take a break. We got tickets to see Bert Kreischer, who's going to be at the BOK Center on Friday. We got best and worst of the weekend. Our listeners are awesome, and Jeff Hensley will join us as well. Take a break, and we'll be back.
To worry about it. Yeah, it's never been in my system enough to even worry about it.
Gimpy, you said one. How many have you taken total in your whole?
One to get a job at Target.
Huh?
No, excuse me. I just lied to you. Sorry, the other job. Two, as a matter of fact. One to get a job at Target, and the other one was to get a job when I was selling parts, the job that I had before I got here. And I had failed that one. I had tried. I was like, all right.
I love that you put some sympathy tone on it. Like, I tried.
I did. I quit for a couple of weeks. And I'm like, all right, that should be good enough, right? THC absorbs in your fat cells. I'm not a heavy guy, so therefore I thought it would flush it out a lot, sooner. It wouldn't stick around in my body as long as it did. So a couple of weeks go by. I'm like, all right, bet I'm good. And I go down there and I take their whiz quiz. And it comes back. You tested positive for the marijuana.
And you hadn't smoked in how long?
It'd been a couple of weeks. I completely stopped.
It can hang. Hold on. Mm-hmm. I thought that was like recent. I didn't think whiz was weeks.
No, it's the THC absorbs in your fat cells, so it stays in there for a while. And if you're a bigger, heavier dude and a heavy smoker, and that's another thing you got to think of, heavy smoker I was, but so therefore I thought, okay, a couple of weeks, I'm not a fat guy, I should be good, not taking into account the amount that I put into my body on a daily basis, okay? So I failed that one, and they're like, all right, we'll give you another shot, but you got to wait for 6 months. You got
to get the job.
To take another whiz quiz. So I was like, all right, fine.
6 months hardly makes sense.
That's what they told me. And I was like, bro, I really wanted this job,
So did you start the job and then in 6 months they tested you?
No, I couldn't get the job until they tested me and I tested positive. So for 6 months, I go straight. I quit completely for those 6 months.
Impressive.
And I know.
Very
right?
much so.
And so I took my test. I passed it with flying colors. And then I started back up again. And I tell you what, it has not been the same since. The very first time I got roasted after not doing it for 6 months, I was like, it messed with my mind so much. I was like, this is not what I remember it being. Oh, it's because my tolerance dropped. I was like, well, I guess we're just going to have to build it back up. But you're talking, from 16 to 25, so 9 years of just steady smoking all day, every day. My tolerance was way up there, so I was like, I guess we'll have to start all over again.
Challenge accepted.
Yep.
I worked at The Edge, and the company that owned them in another market, they own a newspaper service, and the newspaper, one of the delivery guys that delivered the paper in the morning to, the stands or whatever, hit a kid and killed a kid, and they tested him, and he was high. So they were like, we're drug testing everyone. And so they instituted a drug policy where you had to do a random drug testing. Mm-hmm. I go to London to see Kings of Leon, and then when I come back, they call me into the office like right away.
Right.
And they're like, hey. And I was friends with the business manager. He's like, hey, you have 24 hours after I hand this to you to go take a drug test. Would you like me to hand it to you? And I was like, no. And he's like, all right, tomorrow morning I have to hand it to you. Mm-hmm. So whatever you need to get taken care of.
Right.
And so I went and bought like pea clean, like,
all the stuff,
broccoli, whatever, all the stupid stuff. And went and did the test. And when I did the test, they give you all these instructions, the thing, put it in there, don't flush, da-da-da. So I obviously have to pee like a crazy person. Mm-hmm. And because I've been holding it, and I go to the bathroom just like, oh, thank God, fill the cup and no problem. Done, being a good boy, and I flush.
Oh,
and they're like, I go out, and she's like, did you just flush the toilet? And I'm like, yeah. Cup's in the thing. We're good? And she's like, no, you can't flush. So 1 hour. See you again. See you in an hour. And you're like, and if you didn't do the test, they fired you.
Yeah. Oh.
And I was like, So I went and ate and panicked.
Mm-hmm.
Went back and did it again and was like, did not flush. Like she even put a note on the thing. Don't flush.
Did she say like, it happens?
No.
Or was she mean about it?
No, she wasn't mean about it, but she also wasn't empathetic.
Yeah.
Right.
She's there to do a job.
Right.
She's seen all the tricks. Mm-hmm. You go in there and you're peeing like you're running out of, like you haven't peed in days.
Yeah.
He is well aware that you're trying to not pass a test. They're not stupid.
They've seen all the tricks.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The question is, how many people lost their job there after that? Did anybody?
Good question.
No. No,
we're all Johnny Fever in
of
this
the places I've worked that have had drug policies. Mm-hmm. I've never seen and alcohol. Yeah. I've never seen somebody get fired.
Wow.
And I know that some people didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe there was an internal like, hey, you get a warning and da-da-da-da. Next time, though.
We'll test you
Possibly.
Yeah.
again.
I don't know. Robber uses sledgehammer at a gas station. So police in Nashville have arrested a man after he heard Peter Gabriel's song. Good old Robbie Kelly heard that song, was like, that's a damn good idea. And he's charged with robbery. He was smashing the window of a gas station, climbed through a window to take cash and ciggies. He's in jail on $15,000 bond. Really just a reason to play Peter Gabriel.
Absolutely.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. That song right there, when I was DJing at Rumors, the second swingers club that I was at, that was the boss's favorite. And I swear I would hear it at least 4 times a night. And I'm like, can I please stop playing Peter Gabriel?
Did he come over and be like, hey, man,
Where's my song?
play Sledgehammer?
can
I want to hear...
Can you throw on some Sledgehammer for me? Sure thing, Bobby. Gotcha.
Right. I always love when there's like a DJ who's wiki spinning. That is an art.
Is.
Yeah.
DJing and picking songs in a selected format to try and get people to dance on the dance floor or to create a certain energy in a room is 100% an art.
Yeah.
And then you got someone coming over going, hey man, will you play the Macarena? And they're like, oh, because you don't want to say no, but you do.
I'll see what I can do for you.
Yeah.
That's it. I'll see what I can do for you. And then they're like, well, here's a crispy Lincoln for you. And I'm like, ugh, all right, fine. I'll pay your Macarena for $5.
$5?
$5.
That's so... That feels stupid to me.
Well, it's better than what some of the people do. They would pay nothing or $1 to play.
That feels... $1 feels fair.
Maybe, but we live on tips. God damn it.
You made...
Not necessarily, but...
Wait,
it
hold on,
helped out
Sonic employee.
tremendously.
What are you talking about?
I got my wages, yes, but the tips are always good and always appreciated.
Of course.
So, here's the thing.
You said you made your living off tips, which implied you did not make a salary. You did not make money.
I mean, I did, but it helped add towards the living that I'm making these
Of
tips
course.
here.
Like, we should then get tips.
Shouldn't we, though? I love it. No, we can't leave a jar out front. The hobos will take it.
What was the
Nonetheless.
biggest tip?
His
More
name
than he
was
can
Tony.
handle.
He was about 6'7", 450 pounds.
Biff.
Massive.
Biff, what is his name? Tiny.
Ooh. I think the biggest tip giggity that I got was, I think it was like a $20 bill. Yeah, it was a $20.
For one song?
For one song. Yeah, those drunk bitches, man, when they want to hear it, they'll pay for it. I'm like,
What's the
"All right."
most you hauled in a night, tip-wise?
Tip-wise is like $100.
Damn.
That ain't too awful
not
bad.
bad.
No.
And I don't have to split that with like, the other barbacks, bartenders,
Right.
waitresses, or whatever. That's all me. So that was
Would they split their tips with you?
No, hell no, never. But they had to split it amongst themselves
Sure.
or whatever. So I was total separate entity, got to keep everything.
I've never tipped a DJ ever. Well, I've told him to get out of that career, but I mean,
Yeah.
I've never.
Horrible tip.
That's technically a tip. I've never. No.
Yeah.
Now, if you were did you ever DJ a gentleman's club?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't or wouldn't have back then, but no.
It's like having to be an employee at a weed store. What are you talking about?
Right.
Right?
That's true. Good point.
Nothing would ever get done. Cinnamon.
to work.
Wait a minute. Wait, who's going to announce Cinnamon? Get off of Cinnamon's lap, Gimpy. Come on.
She likes me, man.
Right.
It told
We're
me.
trying to pay each other's electric bills. Come on.
Predictions that were made in 1923 of what it would be like in 2023, which is,
That's
for
cool.
those that don't know, you're 4 days into it. 1, the workday will be only 4 hours long.
Ha.
Check.
Yeah, right. We got that one, don't we?
It says that because of electricity, work will only be 4 hours long. That's what they said in 1823. Women will blacken their teeth and shave their heads.
Well, I mean, there's some
wrong.
weirdos out there that would do that.
No.
You don't think?
No, there's no one There may be 2,
It doesn't matter.
but it's not a thing.
Yeah. Yes.
It's now predicted that by the year 2023, only a mere little stretch of century ahead, women will probably be shaving their heads. And the men will be wearing curls. Those two things are true. Also, the maidens may pronounce it the height of style in personal pimping to blacken their teeth.
That's interesting.
Nope.
They had it wrong. Whiten their teeth, yes.
Whiten?
Yeah, right.
Whiten their teeth,
You're
yeah.
right.
Radio, yes, hi, will replace gasoline.
What?
Okay.
An expert in airlines and airplanes gives, he predicts that by the year 2023, gasoline as a motive power will have been replaced by radio.
Okay.
And the skies will be filled with a myriad aft going over well-verified routes. So he's not wrong, by the way. This is actually happening and true.
Mm-hmm.
The belief, we just didn't understand then how radio waves would affect airplanes.
Right.
Now we know that not to be a problem unless it's your cell phone.
Turn it off.
All people will be beautiful by 2023. I present at least 2 cases, Your Honor.
Be nice to Lindsay.
Life expectancy will be 100 years.
What? People are dying earlier and earlier, man.
No,
No.
Cut that in half.
No. Life expectancy will be 300 years.
Oh,
my
Jesus.
gosh.
People will wear kidney cozies.
A kidney
What
cozy.
the hell?
Yes, kidney cozies will be worn to protect the kidneys on chilly days, just the same as a teapot in the north is kept warm by a tea cozy.
Okay. Do your kidneys get colder than the rest of your body?
No, but again, when they were doing medicine, one, there weren't doctors like what we know doctors to be now. People would just be like, I'm a doctor.
Right.
Right? And they used to drill holes in women's heads to
Right.
let out demons. And they thought washing your hands meant you weren't a good doctor.
Right.
The idea was that the bloodstained hands would prove you knew how to do the work.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So men will curl their hair. Yeah, that's been happening for a while.
Yeah.
The old man perm.
The U.S. will have a population of 300 million.
For it, right? So, yeah, he got taken in, busted big time. Cooks said, he tried saying, this is just a misunderstanding. He had unintentionally sneezed on the employee. So he got busted for battery while being put in the patrol vehicle. He continued to tell deputies, I literally just sneezed. But of course, the body camera video showed, I'm being detained for sneezing? This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. He had priors.
Surprise.
And, yeah,
Let me guess, assault.
Let's see, domestic battery back in 2018, a violation of probation the following year. He served 10 years in prison after being convicted of robbery with a deadly weapon back in 2006.
Yeah, so they let you return stuff to Walmart without a receipt.
Yeah.
But you have to have a valid government ID and be kind of in a good standing with the return process.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And usually they just give you like store credit or whatever.
Correct.
Here's a gift card or whatnot. So they won't give you cash.
And he probably wanted the cash, maybe, and that's what made him so volatile. I don't know.
Maybe so.
Yeah. But anyway, he's locked up.
Woman found living inside grocery store sign. This comes out of Michigan, where these contractors went to it's Family Fair grocery store there in Midland, and they go up to the roof and they notice there's an extension cord running up there, and they're like, "What the hell is going on here?" So they get access into the sign, and that's where they noticed that this woman had been living there for a while. They said that she had flooring laid down, and she had her clothes there. She had a Keurig coffee maker, a printer, and a computer, kind of just makeshift home or whatnots. They questioned the woman, obviously, and she said that she'd been living up there for a while she was working someplace else. They don't know how she got up there because there weren't any signs of a ladder or anything, but they said that the roof does have access through the store. So somehow she managed to sneak all this stuff up there during store hours, I imagine. Anyhow, Of course, they get the cops involved. The cops give her some resources, some pamphlets and stuff. Here's some information where you can get some help or whatever, of course.
Here's a pamphlet to solve your problems.
Right. And the lady apologized and went about her way. And then that was the end of that. They didn't charge her with anything, no trespassing or anything like that. They just said, gather your stuff and go on now, get.
Wow, that's impressive because they didn't know how she was getting up and down. Mm-hmm. And this is like the sign on top of the building.
Yeah. The big sign that lights up and lets everybody know this is the grocery store.
Yeah. That's impressive for over a year.
Yeah. And I can imagine living in a sign, but I guess it's better than living under a bridge. You're fully enclosed.
Yeah.
Right? There's no elements that's going to get you. But again, how you getting up there? How you getting up and getting down? She said that she's working someplace else, right? I mean, I guess it could be remote because she had her laptop,
right,
and her printer and everything. So she's probably wheezing off the Wi-Fi of a nearby McDonald's or something. It's very, very impressive.
Yeah, and she could have just been going up and down inside the store.
Right. Maybe that's how she's getting her food. Wait till closing time. And then sneak.
No. I mean, like she could have went in, used access to the roof from inside the store.
Yeah.
But still, like The only thing I think it sounded like she was stealing was electricity.
Yeah, but again, how do you get all that stuff up there? Your laptop, your printer, your Keurig. I can understand you have like a backpack full of clothes or whatever, and that's easy. Just and then you go the rooftop access through the store, right? With like, all right, even if she didn't have. She moved in. She had a printer in one hand and her Keurig in the other arm, right? And then her laptop, just everything in there. Like, how does she get past all the employees, sneak to wherever that that door is, and then carry all that stuff up? Either way, good for her.
And I feel like this is the same thing that people aren't. The same question isn't being asked of this that isn't being asked of like the crazy squatter stories that happen. Mm-hmm. And that is why? Why is this a better option?
Right.
What is it about the process to get a place that makes this better?
Right. Living in a sign.
Right. Again, it's sneaking stuff up, whatever, maybe trying to take over someone's home that isn't yours and you know that you're going to get caught.
Right.
Like, and you're like, this weathering the storm of this is better than the process of getting a home.
Right.
People equate it to like, well, they're cheating. And I don't think that's it. Mm-hmm. I think it is a human need to want shelter, and so you're trying to figure out what that is and how to make that happen.
Right. I'm sure there's some people out there that, don't mind being homeless, but I don't think anybody really wants to. Nobody wants to live under a bridge, right? Nobody wants to live in a
sign
tent. Well, I was going to say a tent, like you see these homeless encampments. Yeah. They're all over town. If you notice, like drive down 244, going westbound, and the amount of homeless encampments, tents, and all kinds of stuff that are just set up on the side of the highway, it's interesting.
I think there are a group of people that want solitude.
Yeah.
And that may look like a tent or whatever. But I think that's a very small, tiny percentage.
Right.
The majority of those, I think there's a mental or addiction issue happening.
Something going on. Yeah.
Yeah. But to me, that is a crazy story of why she was like, yeah, this is fine for over a year. Yeah. Christmases, storms, hurricanes.
Right.
Because insane story. Woman sentenced in Bitcoin murder for hire case. Right. This is a follow-up for a story. A Texas woman is headed to prison for hiring a hitman to kill her boyfriend's other lover. Michelle, not on my watch, Murphy from Dallas previously pled guilty in federal court. The 58-year-old sent about $10,000 to Bitcoin to someone she thought would pull off the murder, but he went to the feds. Agents caught Murphy and her man at the DFW airport. She confessed, and that led to the week's 9-year prison sentence. Damn. Prosecutors say this is the first time they've had a murder for hire involving cryptocurrency. And she went on the dark web and found somebody to do this. They wanted Bitcoin. She went and went to an ATM that converts to crypto and followed her digital footprint and everything, all because she wasn't happy with her boyfriend's other lover.
Wow.
Murder for hire never works out.
Never.
Or does it? I don't know.
Right. They don't tell us the stories where it does work out.
Not a lot of success stories get bragged about.
Yeah.
How much do you think she was paying? because I know the amount. Yeah, to kill this other woman.
And you said it was 10,000 Bitcoin is what they had asked?
Oh, did I already say the number?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if there was a, currency difference between regular $10,000.
There is. One's real, one's not.
Right. But you know how, like, pesos, the exchange rate or whatever, pesos to
there's
dollars.
an exchange. Yeah. There's 100% an exchange rate. But still, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
The idea, first of all, 58 went on the dark web. Impressive. I hope your clock's not blinking 12 on your microwave.
All right.
I wouldn't know where to start.
No.
And I'm being honest, I've never gotten on the dark web, have no desire to, because I'm afraid what I'm going to see.
Right.
Right. And then that stuff comes back to
And then
you.
it's on my computer.
Yeah.
Right.
That knock on your door.
I inadvertently get donkeys and, I don't know, pigs banging. I don't know.
That doesn't seem that bad.
Probably not, but to me, it's not something I want in my search history.
Right. As long as they're not banging children, I guess you're all right.
See, I wasn't going to go there, and you had to tee that up.
Of course.
All right, we got tickets to Burt Kreischer we're going to give away. We'll take a break, and we'll be back.
More of the Big Mad Morning Show.
Is like a Karen went to God and was like, hey, this feels hardly fair.
Yeah.
Once a month I'm bleeding. I got to carry a kid and grow an organ inside me and then dispose of it. Can we even this out? And he's like, I could tie his balls in a knot for a 6-year period.
Right. Like you gotta give him something to worry about. Please.
I'm good. I'm good on all that.
Do you know anybody that's ever gotten that gimpy?
I do. My nephew, as a matter of fact, came out that way and had to have surgery to get it fixed.
Oh, out of the womb.
Yeah.
So they had to do surgery
Yeah.
on a baby.
On a baby. They had to go
On a
cut
baby's
his little
balls.
baby balls open. Yeah.
Listen, they were already doing the top part, so
Right.
Yeah.
Might
At least
as well.
He'll never remember it.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe deep-seated down in there somewhere. Maybe some hypnotherapy can bring it back. I don't know. But yeah.
I mean,
bizarre.
I hear you, but psychologically, they say those type of things live with you.
Right.
That you may not remember it, but your brain does.
Yeah. It's stored in the memory bank somewhere deep down inside.
Yeah. Much like they were like, nah, C-sections are fine. It doesn't affect the baby at all.
That explains what
Nah,
we're supposed to do.
it doesn't.
It
How?
absolutely does.
How?
They don't get the gut flora.
You know, that white
They don't.
cheese that's
They
covered
don't
over
get
the baby.
the bacteria from your vagina.
Right.
Vag back.
They don't.
I get that.
They don't. And so those babies tend to have more digestive problems.
Interesting.
Go down the rabbit hole. Nobody does more C-sections on the planet than America.
We're in a hurry. Turn and burn, man. Turn and burn.
I can't be inconvenienced. I got golf.
Right. Tea time at 4 o'clock. Let's get that baby out of here. Co-pilot was visibly upset before leaving plane in midair. So this comes out of North Carolina, where there's these two dudes, a pilot and his co-pilot, a 23-year-old dude by the name of Charles Crooks. So these guys were running a skydiving operation, and they're in the plane, and they'd already dropped off and picked up 2 sets of people, and they're on their way to pick up the third one. Well, the co-pilot is actually the one that's operating the plane he at this point in time. So the co-pilot comes in for a landing, and it was a hard landing. Kaboom! Ended up breaking the landing gear.
Yeah, I remember the story.
Okay, happened in late July. So the pilot takes the controls, tries to get it back up in the air, back up to 400 feet. Meanwhile, while the pilot is trying to get things under control, he tells old Chuck here, hey, why don't you get on the horn with air traffic control, let them know, hey, we need to divert an emergency landing. Well, instead of doing that, Chuck opens up the window and then barfs out the side. Typical, okay, the guy's shooken up a little
Adrenaline
bit.
dump. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the pilot's like, hey, bro, get it under control. Get these people, on the horn. We need to make a landing.
Together, man.
Yeah, instead, he decides to go ahead and lower the ramp from the back of the plane, and that's when old Chuck got up and then takes his headset off, starts walking to the back of the plane, apologizes, and jumps the hell out. Now, Chuck, what the pilot did end up landing the plane in a field. Chuck was found in the back of somebody's backyard as a dismembered mess, and the incident is still under investigation.
Yeah. So, did he just go crazy in that moment?
I guess they said that he felt really bad for the hard landing, which I understand.
And the guilt just overtook him to just jump out of the plane?
Yeah, overtook him. Said that he was visibly upset and just said, you know what, F this, I'm out of here. And then, there he goes.
Drugs.
Possibly.
Drugs feels like a better answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do you one better. Falling airplane part barely misses officer at Maine state capitol. So police officer's lucky to be alive after he was standing just a few feet when a 6 to 7 pound steel sleeve smashed into the ground outside the main entrance of the Capitol on Friday. An officer who works as a screener to the building was walking less than 10 feet from where the part fell. The FAA is investigating and says the part is likely from a large airliner on an international route. Or so they'd like you to think.
Is that common for parts of planes to just fall off like that? I've seen other stories where, like, the landing gear fell off and, ended up going through somebody's roof or something. But I feel like that's just every now and again.
This says things fall off aircraft every day. The Navy recorded an average of 460 incidents per year in the 80s. In the commercial world, Boeing received 200 reports of structural parts falling off its planes between 1989 and 1984, so a 5-year period.
Okay, so in the 80s, it seemed different because in the 80s there were a lot of plane crashes. Pan Am being one of the airlines that seemed like they had a bunch of crashes, which I didn't think was right, but I mean, whatever.
I think that the number of plane crashes every year isn't a lot.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but hold on, I'm getting to the 80s. We'll just go 86.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Oh, God. We're at a baker's dozen.
Yeah, but do you know how many flights there are a day?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot.
Thousands.
It's okay. So 13 out of 1,000, but still, man.
In a year.
Okay.
So times that by 365. That's not very many, bro.
I guess. It just seemed like
it's literally the safest way to travel.
Says you. As
not me.
Parts are just
data.
Falling off.
Data. Facts.
How many times you be driving down the road and something just fall off of your car?
Yeah.
It's only happened to me once.
Yeah. And then it's usually later, like, where's my?
Right. I was driving. It was a 1980 280Z, okay? And rusted floorboards. It was a turd. I paid $700. We pulled it out of a field, right? Well, I'm in Owasso at 86th Street, right there by the highway. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I was going eastbound towards, the Reesers or whatever. And I was at the stoplight, and I went to take off, and the car lifts up, whoop, and then, boom, slams on the ground. My entire, the strut tower, the whole shebang just came right off and left me on the ground. I was like, well, that's not supposed to happen. Yeah, I got it towed out of there and got it fixed. But I'm just saying, it doesn't happen to cars all the time. Seems like it happens to planes a lot. I call this day spa or dispensary, okay? So basically, I've got some businesses. These are legit businesses in Tulsa.
Fun.
It's either a day spa or a dispensary.
Okay.
Now, based off the name, you're going to chime in with and that's how you're going to buzz in. Corbin or Lindsay.
Okay.
Got
You
it.
get one shot and one shot only because this is a 50-50 chance. There's no point in, hey, would you like to guess, Lindsay? He said it's a dispensary. No, it's a day. So you only get one shot.
Okay.
Whoever wins at the end, I got a big prize for you. Okay?
Like a little nug, maybe? A price?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Maybe.
God knows you
Trip to a
have
day
plenty.
spa?
Right. So, day spa or dispensary, are you guys ready?
Ready.
All right, we're going to take it up from the top here. Euphoria. Corbin, yes.
That's a spa.
Euphoria is a dispensary. No points for anybody on that one. All right. Nirvana, day spa
Corbin.
or dispensary? Corbin.
That is a dispensary.
Corbin would be correct.
Come on, Lindsay.
You got to get in the game, woman. Get in the game. All right, Omni Oasis, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Day spa.
Day spa is correct. So far, we're tied 1-1. La Fusion, day spa or dispensary? La Fusion.
Corbin.
Corbin, yes.
That is a dispensary.
Ah, Corbin, that is incorrect. La Fusion is a day spa. Poppies, day
Corbin.
spa or dispensary? Corbin.
That
yes.
is a day spa.
Yes, you are correct. Poppies is a day spa. 2-1 so far. Corbin's lead. OHG, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Dispensary.
That is correct. Tied
What'd
up.
you say?
OHG. That's all it is. These are all the ones. I just found them on Google.
Sure.
I just simply Googled day spa and then Googled dispensaries and then found a bunch of them that
Sure.
are really close.
I just
and
couldn't
could be
hear. I didn't hear
confused.
you because you were going so fast. I didn't hear you. I
OHG.
didn't know it was
I
letters.
wonder what that stands for.
I have no idea. Nonetheless, moving forward, 918 Elevate, day spa or dispensary? 918 Elevate.
Corbin.
Corbin, yes.
Dispensary.
That is correct. Corbin's in the lead, 3-2. One Love Wellness, day spa.
Corbin.
You got to pick it up, Lindsay. Corbin, yes.
That is a dispensary.
Corbin, One Love Wellness is indeed a
Wow.
dispensary. Yes.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show. 918-460-KMOD. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. See what Lindsay has for Balls to the Wall Sports.
The Indiana Pacers crushed the New York Knicks 121-89 in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Tyrese Halliburton had 20 points and 6 rebounds as the Pacers evened up the series. Out west, the Denver Nuggets beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 115-107 in Game 4 of their second-round series. Nikola Jokic totaled 35 points, 7 boards, and 7 assists as the reigning champions evened up the series. The action continues tonight with a pair of Game 4s. In the East, the Boston Celtics will be aiming for a commanding 3-1 series lead when they visit the Cleveland Cavaliers at 6 tonight on TNT. In the West, the Dallas Mavericks will be looking to do the same against our top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. That game starts on TNT tonight at 8:30.
The Pacers looked so good last night. Jalen Brunson was like almost non-existent after he's had some crazy games. It was a phenomenal game.
Yeah, 121, and then you see the 115-107. You think that's huge, but then 120. I mean, these scores.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the Pacers-Knicks game, after it looking so close, the first couple, and the Knicks looking so good, they looked like they didn't belong there yesterday. It was crazy. And the Pacers are good, but, like, they did not look like the Knicks belonged at all.
Yeah. And despite just a 3% chance coming into the day to get the top pick, the Atlanta Hawks won the NBA draft lottery yesterday. Atlanta, who is projected to pick 10th, shot up the board to win the right to pick first in the upcoming draft, the 5th lowest odds by a team to win the number 1 pick since the lottery began in 1985. The Washington Wizards, Houston Rockets, and San Antonio Spurs rounded out the top 4. Unlike last season, there is not a clear front runner for the selection. The NBA draft takes place June 26th and 27th. And the Chargers are mourning the loss of the winningest general manager in franchise history. Former Chargers GM A.J. Smith died Sunday at the age of 75 after a long battle with prostate cancer. Smith rose from a part-time scout to general manager of the San Diego Chargers throughout a 35-year career in the NFL. The Chargers won 98 games during his 10 seasons in the position from 2003 to 2012. Smith was responsible for bringing all-time franchise greats such as Antonio Gates and Phillip Rivers to San Diego. His son Kyle is currently the assistant general manager for the Atlanta Falcons. And that's your Balls to the Wall Sports. I'm Lindsay on 97.5 KMOD.
Balls to the Wall Sports is powered by the award-winning service of Groundworks.
That is a dispensary.
That is incorrect, Corbin. Wildflower is a day spa. All right, Clover Patch, Tulsa, day spa or
Lindsay.
dispensary. Lindsay.
Dispensary.
Lindsay would be correct.
What's the score?
6-8, Corbin's
Okay.
lead. All right, the Merry Mind, day spa or
Lindsay.
dispensary. Lindsay.
Spa.
Lindsay. The Merry Mind is a dispensary. All right, the Relax Station, day spa
Corbin.
or dispensary. Corbin.
That is a spa.
That is correct. Corbin is up 9-6. Path to Wellness, day spa or dispensary.
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Dispensary.
Lindsay, Path to Wellness is a day
I'm
spa.
sorry. I thought you said packed.
Oh, yeah. Was that the
wellness.
problem?
No, I thought it said packed.
Sure, yes. Let me enunciate a little bit more, shall we? All right, let's see here. Heirloom, day spa or dispensary? Heirloom, day spa or dispensary?
Corbin.
Corbin.
That's a dispensary.
Corbin, Heirloom is a day spa. You're still in the lead, 9-6. He's okay. Tulsa Garden, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Day
Spa.
spa or dispensary. The Tulsa Garden is a day spa. Good job, Lindsay.
Score.
We're looking at 9-7, Corbin's lead. Bella Roma Medical, day spa or dispensary?
Corbin.
Corbin.
Dispensary.
Corbin, Bella Roma Medical is a day spa. Stonebrook, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Spa.
Yes, you are correct, Lindsay. We are now 9-8, neck and neck. Who is going to win, day spa or dispensary, and walk away with a big, big prize? Stone Age Meds, day spa
Corbin.
or dispensary? Corbin.
That is a spa.
Corbin. The Stone Age Meds is a dispensary. Uptown Wellness, day spa or dispensary?
Corbin.
Corbin.
That is a spa.
Corbin. Uptown Wellness is a dispensary.
Really?
We only got 2 left here.
Okay.
All right. So we got a chance to tie it and a breaker if we can do this. All right. Pura, day spa or
Corbin.
dispensary? Corbin.
Dispensary.
Corbin is correct. Pura is a dispensary, puts him with the win, 10-8. I'll go ahead and give you the last one, see if you can guess it. Stonebrook, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Spa.
Lindsay would have been correct, which wouldn't matter because it's 10-9. Corbin is the big winner. Congratulations, Corbin.
What'd I get?
You want to know what you got?
Yeah.
My friend, I tell you, you have won my leftover potatoes. That's right, Corbin. I had dinner last night.
I love it. That's awesome, man. I'm actually kind of hungry, so I think that's a fantastic
This is
gift.
perfect.
And you're not a horrible cook.
No.
So that's great. But, I just think it's just an honor to win. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Lindsay. She put in a valiant effort.
Listen,
And,
Corbin,
I just appreciate the competitiveness. And, I'm just one guy on a team, and we're just a team trying to make the thing happen. And, it's an honor to be a part of the Ford Truck Series and anything I can do to make this Hilton Hotel team do the best I can.
Well, Corbin, I'm glad that you accepted and decided to give your prize of potatoes to the loser of the game, but that's not all that you're going to win. All right? So not only do you get my leftover dinner from last night, my potatoes and a little bit of steak with some cheese on top, I'm also going to hook you up with a 6-pack of Twisted Tea. Set right up front because nobody wants this. So I grabbed a pack and you get to take it home with
Again, you put
Twisted
zero
Tea.
effort into the prize.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just real grateful that this Hilton Honors team did the best they could, and we'll make sure part of the Ford Truck Series continues. So I'd like to give it to my second place. His second isn't winning. So
Dude, Twisted Tea is a great beer fridge for guests.
Right,
item.
right. Well, congratulations, Lindsay. You got yourself some old mushed potatoes and some warm Twisted Tea for losing on Day Spa or Dispensary.
Drunk Florida man kicked out of bar, returns and attacks bar owner with belt. This happened last weekend in West Palm Beach. A 37-year-old man kicked out of the bar for being too intoxicated, but quickly returned wielding a firearm, according to an affidavit. Fabio Lano Sanchez, arrested by Palm Beach Sheriff's Office. According to records, he was released on last Wednesday with $60,000 bond amount. He arrived to the area on July 23rd around 2 a.m. The owner of the bar said that he shows up. He was a little drunk. Then he got too drunk, and he started harassing customers. So they asked the man to leave. He left to his car, but came back with a firearm. He pointed it directly at the bar owner and said, "I will shoot you." And then he threatened to shoot the bar's security. Well, then Sanchez decided, I'm going to just take off my belt, and started swinging it at the bar owner. He hit him multiple times. A security guard began fighting with the suspect, and the bar owner began fearing for his life. He told deputies that's when he called 911, and they showed up, arrested him, said he was going to kill everybody. The owner had an injury on his finger from the belt. The guy himself did not have any injuries. The suspect had some scrapes and bruises on his face in his mugshot, though.
That's a very underrated weapon.
Absolutely,
a belt is, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could do some damage with a belt. Trust me, I know. But to use it in like a street fight is not something you see every day. You hear about guns, knives, crowbars, baseball bats. I appreciate this guy for whipping out his belt.
Yeah, if you're good, like that whole towel whip, that people,
Yeah.
if you can do that with a belt.
You could whip the S out of
Yeah,
somebody. And you don't even have
especially
to
if it's
towel
leather.
whip them with it. You could whip them like a slave. Whap! Right across the face. That's going to
Get
hurt.
the buckle.
Oh, yeah. Well, the buckle's good for handle.
Oh, that's true.
I guess I think of the scene from Indiana Jones
Okay.
when Jones is in the street and the guy has the sword and he goes,
He's all over here.
and he just pulls out his gun and shoots him.
Right.
So
Well, everybody knows you don't bring a belt to a gunfight. However,
apparently you do.
the owner didn't have a gun.
One of them had a gun, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
he did.
bad
He
guy had a gun, but he
Yeah.
decided not to use the gun. I'm going to go a little bit lighter. I'm going to take my belt off and whoop him like a step kid. Quote unquote Christian woman arrested at a splash park. This happens in Ohio where cops were called out to the Cedar Point Shores Water Park there in Sandusky. All right, they say that a woman that describes herself as a Christian and a grandmother was arrested because witnesses told her that she called a child a brat, a fat ass, and then pushed him off a floating toy.
I mean, brat,
Right.
fat ass.
And then pushes his tubby ass off the floating toy. Get out of here, fatso. Yeah. So they show up to this water park because this elderly woman, she's 67, and she's picking on this kid. They talked to the mother. Her name's Jennifer. She told them what was going on. And she fingered the 67-year-old woman. She's over there. The cops go over there, and they talk to her. They're like, what's your name? And she says, I am Jennifer Lee Miller. And then she gives them an address, a date of birth, phone number, all the information they're looking for. And she admitted to calling the kid a brat. But she denied swearing at the child and says that she never touched him at all. She says that she's a good Christian woman and a grandmother and would never do such a thing. Anyhow, other witnesses contradicted what Jennifer had to say. And that's when the cops are like, listen, Miss Miller, if we have to come out here again, we're going to arrest you for disorderly conduct. And that's when Jennifer's like, okay, fine, whatever. So the cop leaves. And then I guess something clicked in the cop's brain like, something didn't seem right about this whole situation. So he goes back to the water park. And I guess Jennifer, Ms. Miller, the 67-year-old lady that called the boy a fat ass and a brat and pushed him off the float, she gave him a fake name, a fake address, and a fake phone number.
Christianity.
Right. That just went to busy. I guess the cop tried to call the phone number, and it's all ding, 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 ding. Sorry, you're busy. Anyhow, so they go back and talk to her about it. And she said that she didn't have an ID and that she felt she was being harassed by the police. She eventually admitted her name was Janet Nail, and they took her in for obstruction.
I love. morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show, 918-460-KMOD. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Corbin. We've got your chance to win $1,000 coming up at 9 o'clock when you rock the bank. Listen for that keyword, and when you hear it, enter it online at KMOD.com. You'll have 8 more chances throughout the day to put $1,000 in your hand. Who couldn't use an extra $1,000 to spend right now? Good luck. Be listening, 9 a.m.
Good morning, Gimpy.
Well, good morning. We want to toast our troops. If you're a veteran, we want to hook you up with a case of Shinerbach and dinner for 2 in Mondo's Italian restaurant in the heart of Brookside. All you got to do is hit up the website that rocks, KMOD.com, click the contest page, and it's right there. If you're not a vet, but you know a vet, you want to nominate them, well, you can do that too.
Time for the best and worst of the weekend. What's the best thing that happened this weekend and the worst thing that happened this weekend? Couple ways for you to get your best and worst to us. You can call it 918-460-KMOD. You can text BMMS and whatever that is to 82945. Lindsay, what's the best and what's the worst?
The best, obviously, Mother's Day was a wonderful day. Got spoiled, and it was perfect. We got up, went to church. After church, went to brunch at my favorite place, Bramble, where you were told it was going to be probably an hour and a half wait.
Oh.
I know. But it was probably more like 40 to 45 minutes, which wasn't terrible. Kevin just went up to the bar because they don't take reservations there, which I think they should, at least on holidays. Be nice. But Kevin just went up to the bar, got us a couple of drinks, and it was just perfect. The food was great. They weren't out of their latkes, which usually the last couple of times that we've been, they've been out of those because they pre-make them. But for a place that was extremely busy, they weren't out. It was awesome. And then I got spoiled with gifts. Kevin replaced my my outdoor furniture on the back patio, new cushions for that, which I asked for.
So you got new cushions.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And Marcus surprised me. There was a yard sale in my neighborhood. They had their neighborhood one, and we couldn't participate in it because we had games, the lacrosse games on Saturday.
Sure.
But on Friday, there was a neighbor. I saw him getting all of his stuff ready for it, and they had what I thought was a desk. And I thought, ooh, if that's there at the end of the day on Saturday, maybe it was meant to be for us. And it just so happens that it was. And my oldest took the initiative to go down by himself, and he bought it for me with his own money. And then when he got down there, the owner was like, dude, I don't know how you're going to walk this back to your house by yourself. So the guy helped him, and I met him, and he recognized my voice, and he is a listener of our show. So it was nice to meet him, and that was fun.
What kind of furniture? What was it?
It was a desk, but it actually ended up not being a desk. It didn't have drawers. Yeah, it looked like from a distance. It was actually more of one of those tables that you put behind a sofa.
A sofa table?
Yeah, yeah, but I can use it as a desk if I wanted to. It doesn't really necessarily need drawers. Just needed something bigger. Fill the space. I still don't have enough furniture in my house, but it's a beautiful table. And yeah, and then the boys and Kevin spoiled me with all the types of goodies that I like that I have to hide from the children normally. Oreos.
Like what?
And they got me some hummus and shrimp cocktail and yeah, things that I love. Fruit by the foot that I usually hide from them. My favorite fruit snacks. It was cool. It was a good day. A bag of pistachios, goodies that I just really enjoy. Flowers and cards. It was a really nice Sunday. And the worst, I don't really have one because it was just a great weekend altogether. I guess being on the lacrosse fields was horrible because they both lost their games, both Leo and Marcus. So that was a bummer.
Best and worst of the weekend. What's the best thing that happened this weekend and the worst thing that happened this weekend? BMMS and whatever that is to 82945, or you can call it 918-460-KMOD. Give me what's the best and what's the worst.
Oh, the best would be Saturday. Got up and mowed my backyard. I didn't have to mow the front yard because the neighbor took care of it for me, which I thought was
Nice.
pretty awesome. I'm out there smoking, no, I was grilling chicken the other day. And I noticed he's mowing his lawn. I was like, that's cool. I'll do mine tomorrow. But then he just kept on going and going. And all the way did my lawn. I was like, that's fantastic. So all I had to do was mow my backyard. But then after that, hooked up with some friends, and we rode. We were going to join a friend on a poker run, but like, well, we don't want to ride from Inola to Owasso. That sucks. So we rode out to Salem. And that was awesome. That was a good ride. Went out there and had the Vienna schnitzel, which no schnitzel at all whatsoever. All wieners, chili dogs, chili.
Sounds like a normal
fries,
weekend, I mean, for you.
for the most part. But it was good. It was a good day of riding. And then we came back into town and we hung out and we did some karaoke and shut her down. It was good. It was good. Good Saturday. The worst part of the weekend, I almost hit my friend with my tip. With the tip of my exhaust pipe. It had split open, and I was like, all right, well, hopefully it'll be all right until I can get a new set. But as things happen, it didn't give a damn what I had planned, and that son of a bitch broke right off and goes traveling down the highway. And it's a good thing it stayed low, or else I'd have hit Mick right in the face with the tip. And but luckily it didn't. It didn't.
Didn't you just put those on? Aren't those fairly new?
No,
I thought you aftermarketed those after you bought that bike.
I did, and I've had that bike for 2 years now, something like that. So, and that's what happens when you get parts off of Amazon.
How does that happen, though?
What do you mean?
How does it split?
Compression.
Yeah.
Compression and thin-ass metal. That's what happens when you buy parts off
Right?
of Amazon.
Buy nicer, buy twice.
So that was an easy fix, though. Took it over to my brother's shop, and we took the saw to it and made it look flush, and then took the other side and cut the tip off. We circumcised my motorcycle. Yeah. That's it.
Best and worst of the weekend. What's the best thing that happened this weekend and the worst thing that happened this weekend? It was a good weekend. Had a field day with my kids and got to watch them run around and be crazy. It was awesome. And, of course, Mother's Day was awesome. Doing all that fun stuff. Being outside was beautiful both days. Worst of the weekend is my kids are doing cheerleading. And they're young, 6 and 8. And we had to buy uniforms for the next school year. Guess how much we spent?
$700.
Yes, exactly.
Really?
Nuh-uh, really?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Again, they are 6 and 8.
Is that with shoes and everything?
Oh,
or
no,
is
that doesn't include shoes.
Holy S.
That's just the skirt and the top, whatever.
The required uniform.
Yeah.
All the bits and pieces.
Wow. Damn.
Wow.
I'll see how you guys do it. You got your kids. She's got hers in football and lacrosse. You got yours, and that stuff is expensive.
Listen, if my kid was playing sports at an upper level, I would go, okay, I get that's part of it. They're going to be in 1st and 3rd grade.
Right.
Right.
This is just a uniform.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have heard that cheer is super expensive. I have heard this many times.
It's just insane for them to have to buy all that stuff to be a part of it. It's just insane.
Yeah.
It makes even if it was it isn't cheerleading. Any sport at that age to pay that much to be a part of, where it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. No. A kid that's good at sports at this age, when they get older, it doesn't automatically transfer. Right. A lot of kids phase out. Their athletic skills change.
Right.
So it does not guarantee it's not like, well, you're investing in their future. No, I'm not. It is an extracurricular.
Does the type of uniform, color scheme, all of that change every year?
No, but their size does.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I would think that there would be like a hand-me-down from an older...
There's a resale. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, you can spend $400 on it
Right.
instead.
But well, if you're looking for a large, there's how many other people looking for a large?
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's insane.
Are you going to push them to be in cheerleading from like now until they're graduated just because?
No, because I would still have to buy. Again, they will.
Right.
There's no guarantee they're going to fit in these.
Right.
Because kids grow at a ridiculous rate. It's such. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed.
You got to do it.
I'm so pissed.
This text says, Corbin, you think that's expensive? Try rodeos and having 3 kids. Drop $600 over Friday and Saturday. Well, that doesn't seem
That's
too
less
bad.
than 2 cheerleading outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, this isn't counting for time that we have to invest in practices, away from other things, throughout the fall, all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is just to participate.
Right.
They could quit. They could break their arm. They could end the program. It is insane.
Do you get to keep the outfit?
Oh yeah,
I was going to
yes.
say $700. You should. You should. Damn.
Yeah, there's not even a paid coach. It's a volunteer coach. So it's not. Don't even. Yeah, it's 3 kids, $600.
Yeah.
3. Best and worst of the weekend. Best organized shipping container. Okay. Worst, hired a kid to do yard work. I'm officially old. Listen, if you can afford to hire stuff out, do it.
Right.
Your time is worth it. Best of the weekend, it was the weekend. Husband did all the household chores. Worst, thought I was getting a foot massage, but he used my feet to massage himself. Weird.
Oh, God.
Weird. That's gross. And how did you not? You just let it happen?
Well, yeah. That's kind of like when the dog starts. You can't just stop it. You kind of.
No, you can. You can. There's a big difference between fingers and, yeah.
Right.
Best bought my wife a 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe. Worst, new car payment. Yeah, that is a downside of a new car.
Yeah.
Best, smoked some ribs Saturday. Spent time outside with my wife. Worst, girlfriend told me she might be pregnant.
Well, that sucks.
I think you need to hear that sentence again.
Right.
Best, smoked some ribs Saturday. Spent time outside with the wife and kids. Worst, girlfriend, not his wife, told me she might be pregnant. So you have a girlfriend and a wife?
Yeah.
You deserve any drama that comes your way.
Yep.
Play
you're
stupid
asking
games,
for
win
it.
stupid prizes.
Yeah, maybe they live that lifestyle.
Okay, that's fair. Of all the times we've talked to people that live that lifestyle, we've never asked them what they do if one of the others get pregnant.
Right.
True.
That is a good question.
Best, got a new iPhone 15. Worst, lost all the music that was downloaded over the last 2 years. How?
Yeah, doesn't it all supposed to just transfer over?
Yeah.
Isn't it under your iTunes account?
I mean, yes, I do. I pay for the service that everything stays up on a cloud. So, because my wife and I share, and I have Apple TV, so it all shares across all platforms, like laptop, all that stuff. Had a great weekend. Wife had rare time off, so we had a little Andolini's picnic hike in the park with our little one and booked our plane tickets for vacation. Good for you. Also bought a gift for someone on your show. Who got a gift?
Not me.
Not me.
Worst part was I forgot to call the stepmom for Mom's Day. Will do today.
Hey, stepmom.
Best part of the weekend was having our baby reveal party. It's a boy. Worst, I was the first to tap out at the party. Should you be tapping out at a reveal party?
Should you be getting that lit up?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Why are you going that hard and fast in the paint?
It's a time to celebrate, man.
Best, went to the lake with me. Good. Girlfriend met a girl and let me watch. Worst, feel like S this morning. So the best was you got to watch your girl have sex?
Okay.
Also best, 300-mile motorcycle ride with 90 other bikers. Context, 40-foot shipping container costs $4,000. Better deal than storage building. Sure. All right, we got to take a break. We got tickets to Burt Kreischer we're going to give away this Friday at the BOK Center. We'll do that when we come back.
Tulsa's morning show is coming right back. The Big Mad Morning Show. Tulsa's rock station. 97.5 KMOD.
Drink things that they found in the trash.
But
Yes. One man said, my dad did the recycling run. In the rich parts of town, people would throw away brand new, still in boxes, like wine glasses, shoes, and things like that. We would resell the stuff online and make a few $100 a month. That's pretty cool.
Throwing away brand new shoes.
Maybe they were the wrong size, and I don't have the time to return these. Trash them.
Sure.
I don't know. Not
they got
something
some-
I would ever do.
they were a gift, and maybe somebody's got some beef against that brand or whatever. Like, these Adidas are trash.
Or they only wore them a few times and they took really good care of them and they still looked new. Ashes of the deceased. One time we found someone's ashes in one of the standard plastic tubs funeral homes usually give out. His information was still on the side. Our management contacted his family using the information that was written on the side of the plastic tub, but the family said they threw the poor man out on purpose.
This text says an old coworker found a vintage collection of Playboy magazines, had them appraised, and was told it was worth about $20,000. That's something worth keeping.
Who would you go to for that?
You take it to the Antique Roadshow.
I'm just saying, like, who do you go to appraise Playboy magazines?
Right.
Yeah.
And if they're slightly used, does that depreciate their value?
I would think.
Like, this is great, but pages 39 and 40 are stuck together, so.
And also, if you find a Chiefs shirt and bring it to me, I'm going to be psyched and tell you how awesome it's worth
Right.
is. I just, to me, that is the, when people are like, oh, these magazines are going to be worth so much money. Okay. I just don't buy into that.
Right.
If they're in mint
right.
condition.
So what? Again, so what? Who cares?
You got to find somebody who's going to pay that kind of price, whatever.
Exactly.
Drew carried all.
We see people on that stupid show, Pawn Stars, and they bring in super rare things.
Right.
And even they're like, it's not worth that much. So I don't know why a bunch of magazines would be worth $20,000. I think some of these stories get so over glamorized
Right.
to make them sound sexy.
One junk removal company found weapons. We took out some old furniture, including a large desk from a man's house. We were finished and drove to the transfer station. As we dumped our load, the desk came sliding out and hit the concrete. It broke apart, and lo and behold, a .357 Magnum revolver comes tumbling out.
I'm surprised by these dumpsters that take on full pieces of furniture.
Yeah. It's a junk removal company. So
It's probably like cleaned
Oh,
out
okay.
house or
Yeah.
whatever
Okay.
like that. Yeah, I got a buddy of mine that works for local trash company, and he finds weapons all the time. He's found knives and guns and stuff, and yeah, that doesn't surprise me any.
Does he have to alert the authorities if it's a gun?
You know that I don't know. I didn't ask. You'd think that would be something to ask, but I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
in case
that's
it's
cool.
stolen or part of
that
a
would-
crime.
That would make sense, yeah.
Kelly Sarber, the president and CEO of Strategic Management Group, trash cans aren't the only places where creepy things are lurking. It's fairly frequent that we have homeless people mistakenly fall asleep inside a dumpster and delivered to a landfill or other processing facility.
Did you say common?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know it happens.
Fairly frequent, she says.
Yeah. Same trash buddy. Same buddy that's trash, man. He's a good friend. He's not a trash buddy of mine, but same thing. He's had bodies roll out, people, homeless people that have fallen
Sure.
asleep in there. He has lifted up trash can to dump it, right, and found prostitutes back there at work.
Behind
the trash can, working. People doing drugs and stuff back there. So, yeah, that's another not really surprising at all.
Yeah. One guy says, I worked at a medical waste factory where we would find amputated body parts and bins full of blood and used needles. Yeah. Cold hard cash. I found $4,000 worth of cash in a cereal box once.
Nobody will ever look in the tricks.
Yeah. Local gypsies had been cleaning out their caravan and threw out the box of cash by mistake.
Did you say gypsies?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
We managed to find the box and rightfully return them their money.
I can only go with what I've seen happen with my trash being picked up.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't go through the trash.
Right.
They just dump it in the thing.
Yeah.
And on to the next stop, right?
Yeah.
And I would think when they dump it at the dump, they back up, open the hatch, dump, pull away.
Same. Yeah.
That makes sense for like private residences because mostly in trash bags, and if there's anything that's too large to go in there, let's say a couch or lawnmower or something like that, usually go beside the trash can, not inside of it, So I can see why they wouldn't go digging through your particular trash, a private residence trash. But with public dumpsters, these big ones, we got people out here all the time dumping stuff in our dumpsters in the back parking lot here.
Yeah, but the Trashosaurus Rex comes and gets it.
Right.
They don't even get to see, most of the time they don't even get to see in it.
Right.
And again, they back up, dump, never even seen again, from what I've seen, maybe they do stand out up beside it and watch it. But
Right.
people that are trash people that are listening to the show have told us they don't get out of their rig.
Mm-hmm.
Only to open a gate to get to the dumpster is the only time they get out of their rigs.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that day was like when the automated garbage trucks came through, like the day that they got those, or they were told they're getting those, what that day was like.
They probably hated it
Why?
because it eliminated jobs
Oh, that's well. I still see 2 or 3 people in those trucks.
for residential, but for Trashosaurus Rex that picks up the dumpster,
Yeah.
it's one person.
Right.
Okay. Kelly Sarber, the president and CEO of Strategic Management Group, again said that we had a woman in New York City mistakenly toss her diamond ring into the trash. She then paid an undisclosed amount of money to have one of the massive barges that took waste from Manhattan to Fresh Kills landfill pulled out of service so the garbage collectors could dig through the thousands of tons of trash until they found it. And they did find her ring. Raccoons. My favorite thing about emptying people's trash is the raccoon surprise. You open the top of a can and stick your hand in to grab the bag, but instead grab a raccoon or two. I saved a few of those cute little creatures.
Cute. Get out of here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Text came in. I also learned that people tip the trash man with cash and beer.
Nice.
I mean, cash, I've done that. I've tipped the trash people. The problem is they're not always the same people on every route.
Right.
And then, so I'm thinking them, what, for the one time they did? I don't know. But to tip beer, I don't know if they drink beer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're just assuming at that point, and then they take it anyway just because of the gesture. Oh, thanks.
Right,
I'm
and
a
throw it in
recovering
the trash.
alcoholic,
Yeah.
asshole.
They're like the rich people who throw away new shoes.
Right.
Yeah. Brand new electronics. My friend's dad was a garbage man, and when he would pick up from places like Walmart, Best Buy, if they had TVs or PlayStations, any type of electronics, laptops in the garbages, he'd bring them home. He had friends that would fix them, and we'd get new electronics. Not
I've
bad.
known a lot of people that have done that. Go
Yeah.
dumpster diving and find stereos and TVs and stuff.
Yeah.
Hospital biohazard waste. I ran a large trash hauling company in Georgia for 3 years. I can't tell you how many times hospitals threw their bio waste out to save on disposal fees. It got so bad the landfill ended up reporting them to big fines.
In this state, you can take a thing of syringes, and as long as it's in not a Sharps container, but a container that cannot be punctured, like a thing of laundry soap, you can just write Sharps and then throw it in the trash.
Huh. How about that?
Someone texted in, I work for Waste Management. It does happen often. Homeless and crackheads sleep in the cans that I pick up, and it is cray-cray. Yeah. So anyway, one man's trash isn't always another man's treasure.
Overwhelmingly, you gave us garbage. Thought we'd do a little fill in the blank news. I'll read part of a headline, leave part of it out. If you can guess the blank part correctly, good on you. First one, Mattel introduces blank Barbie doll. Mattel introduces blank Barbie doll.
That's fun because they got so many different ones now. They've got prosthetic Barbie. They've got slightly overweight Barbie.
Pregnant Barbie.
Pregnant Barbie. I'm trying to think of the other Barbies that I've seen at the store. They got a handy-capable Barbie in a wheelchair.
Think it's a transgender Barbie?
It wouldn't surprise me. We'll go with trannies.
If you've seen the movie, you know Kate McKinnon is a breakout character in the movie. Weird Barbie, from the hit movie Barbie, is getting its own doll. The doll, inspired by Kate McKinnon's character, and is complete with a pink baby doll dress, short, spiky blonde hair, and pink and blue highlights, squiggly forehead line, and a circle around her eye. Announcing the doll on Instagram, Mattel wrote, "Barbie knows what it's like to play just a little too much. The Barbie movie has earned more than..." Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show, 918-460-KMOD. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Let's play a game. Got tickets to see the Machine. Bert Kreischer is going to be over at the BOK Center on Friday. Get your tickets at BOKCenter.com. There's some scattered around lower bowl, upper level. I think tickets are like $20 for the upper level tickets that they have available. All right, so we're going to play the 10, 20, 30 game. Let's get started.
That's right. Do you know?
I love Barbie. But
Sure. Do you have anything Barbie themed in your home?
No.
Okay, then
Absolutely not.
But that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Is that it would have to be something you're a diehard for.
Right. Mine be like cannabis themed or something like that. PlayStation.
Barbie Mania continues to sweep the world. One funeral home in El Salvador has boarded the Barbie bandwagon in a big way. The Alpha and Omega Funeral Home in Achapan is offering a pink Barbie-themed coffin for people who want to take their obsession with pop culture sensation to the afterlife. Each of the metal caskets is decorated with stars and features lining imprinted with pictures of Barbie. One of the spokespeople says, we have to jump on this trend, adding he's already sold 10 of the coffins. It's been a success. The coffin is the latest bizarre Barbie merchandise to be released in Latin America, which has also seen products such as Barbie lunchboxes, pink tacos and pastries, and even Barbie-themed airplanes. New Jersey, only state where drivers can't blank. New Jersey, only state where drivers can't blank.
Drive. Right. That's every state. Can't honk their horn. Okay. Yeah, noise ordinance. Can't get out of your car with a can of spray paint and spray paint the person behind you.
Can't pass other drivers. Can't use the express lane.
Okay. All those sound like good ideas.
New Jersey is the only state in the U.S. where drivers can't pump their own gas. It comes as lawmakers in Oregon voted to end the ban on self-serve gas, and Governor Tina Kotek signed off on it, ending the state's 72-year ban. Gas stations across New Jersey have pushed for lawmakers to lift the ban, which has been in effect since 1949. They say self-serve gas would allow them to lower the price.
Absolutely, yeah. I wonder why that's crazy. That's crazy. I thought, those days of somebody else having gas station attendants were pretty well over.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one in forever.
There's one here in town.
Is there?
Yeah, Reed's over
on...
on...
yeah, Reader's over there off of 15. Okay. But it costs you extra. And
of course it does.
I don't like it, yeah.
Blank are coming to Jeopardy. Blank are coming to Jeopardy.
Nerds.
In there.
Right. Average people. There you go. The bottom of the class is coming to Jeopardy.
Right. Reruns.
Oh, I could see that. Like on a game show network or something. Playing the old episodes of the Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
Like the 80s and stuff like that. So we still get our taste of Alex Trebek and that wonderful stash.
And the fro, man.
Oh, yeah.
When the new season of Jeopardy premieres, there'll be some changes as the writer strike continues. During an interview on the Inside Jeopardy podcast, that's a thing. Executive producer Michael Davies revealed that the show will use a combination of material from our WGA writers wrote before the strike, which is still in the database, and redeployed material from multiple seasons of the show. The new season will also have a second chance tournament showcasing players from the 2020-2021 season. Look for new episodes of Jeopardy to premiere in September.
Okay.
This strike is causing a lot of problems. I didn't know the writers wrote the stuff for game shows.
I didn't either, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Somebody's got to write it.
Yeah. So what are they going to do? That's why CBS is going to have Survivor. They're going to have Survivor, Amazing Race, and Big Brother on all at the same time.
Right, because those don't require writers.
Yes.
Huh.
Or actors.
Right, right.
So they will have them. That's never happened before. And we watch all three of those. So, and they're on so much. I don't know how we're going to keep up. That's a wife problem. Which makes it my problem. Almost half of Americans aren't eating enough blank. Almost half of Americans aren't eating enough blank.
Fruits and vegetables.
Green vegetables.
Red meat.
Oh, I think we are.
Pastries. Americans aren't eating enough pizza.
It's a movement I can get behind.
Italian pasta.
Let's see. Americans aren't eating enough tapioca
Okra.
pudding.
No one would ever say that. Americans say they love apples, oranges, and bananas, but 43% admit it to not eating enough fruit even once a day. According to a new survey, it finds that 52% confess to not eating veggies on the reg. To get the nutrients they need, they may be missing. 51% drink at least one smoothie a week.
Wow.
How often do you eat vegetables, Lindsay?
Vegetables daily.
Okay, say more.
With dinner every day. It's
Every day you have vegetables with dinner.
Yeah.
Like a portion of vegetables, not like, hey, the pasta has tomatoes in it.
No, we have a portion of either something. It's either a green bean. It's either Brussels sprouts, asparagus. Those are the three staples in our house.
Gimpy?
Yeah, same thing every day.
Every day.
Every day. Every day it's a protein, a meat of sorts. Okay, and then usually taters of some kinds, be it mashed potatoes or, scallop potatoes, something to that effect. So meat, protein, carb, and then a vegetable every day. That's the three things on my plate. I have recently, went to the store the other day. I was like, you know what? I haven't had fruit in a damn coon's age. So I went to town, got a bag of grapes and some watermelons and, other stuff like that.
I eat fruit every day. But as far as vegetables, if it's in the HelloFresh, yes.
Right.
But not, and maybe if we're grilling.
Yeah. I make it a point every time I get groceries to get like 4 or 5 things of frozen vegetables, whatever. Yeah.
You said mashed potatoes, and I just don't count those as vegetables.
No, they're not. Raw potatoes or whatever, like a baked
Starch.
potato would be all right, but...
I mean, if you're going to count a baked potato, you should be able to count mashed potatoes, and you should be able to count French fries.
Okay.
Right? Because it's all potatoes.
Right. It just depends on how it's cooked or whatever. Yeah.
If you eat fried green beans, you eating green beans?
Technically, but it's deep fried.
If I have fried mushrooms, that's not the question, isn't how they're made. If you have fried mushrooms, are you eating vegetables every day?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because you're still getting the vegetable that's inside that breaded goodness.
Yeah, but you're getting
Again,
extra
it's not
calories. I
yes, but
guess.
if you have broccoli and cheddar, you don't discount that you didn't eat broccoli.
Right.
True.
So, yeah.
Cover it in cheese sauce. Hardly good for you.
It is delicious, though.
True.
Last one. The age blank stopped being fun. The age blank stopped being fun.
Age blank. The age of 69. Giggity.
Huh. The age staying up late stop being fun?
Okay. I mean, that doesn't make much sense, but okay.
I don't know.
The age gap.
Drinking too much? Or excessive
Aged
partying?
cheese. Aged wine. Thinking of other things that are aged.
The age when blank stopped being fun. According to a question online, at what age did life stop being fun? Thousands of people have responded so far, and a lot of the answers are upbeat, with many saying they haven't reached that age yet. Some folks also say life didn't get fun until they got older, and some say it's never been fun.
Wow.
Oh, those poor people.
Lindsay, what's the age when life stopped being fun?
It hasn't stopped. I think it gets better.
Gimby?
No, it does. It changes, it shifts, but it never stops being fun. It only stops being fun if you let it stop being fun. Like those people that say, it's never been fun. I was born and I've been miserable ever since. It's those people, right? So I'm with Lindsay. I don't think it ever stops.
For me, it's getting more fun as I get older. But there's a scene in the new season of Reservation Dogs, and in it, the aunt is talking to one of the kids who had run away to California and came back. And in the scene, she talks to the kid about like, hey, you're expecting this other shoe to drop that you get older and things just suddenly change. She's like, that never happens. You're still the same person you were at 4. I'm still the same person I was at 12. The difference between those times is I just have a ton more baggage.
Right.
And that baggage weighs you down. And I was like, damn, that's truth.
Mother and daughter kill and grill grandma. See, now that's a headline. This happens in Maryland.
Hats off for the rhyme.
Yeah, right. See, that was
a good headline.
You told me you just
Killing
pointed out a missed opportunity, and I was like, well, I got one too, so I changed it real quick.
I love it. Well done.
Mother and daughter kill and grill grandma. What happened was, this happens in Maryland, where police were sent to the home of a 71-year-old Margaret Craig for a welfare check. Margaret hadn't been heard or seen of from the last couple of days, all right? Well, for a couple of days, because they think that this all happened towards the end of May. So the police go over there and they do the welfare check, and that's when they can smell the decomposing body coming from a basement. Okay, so they go down there and they search, and that's where they found 3 different plastic bags with human remains in it, rotting away in the basement. So the story goes that Margaret accused her daughter, who is 44 years old, Candace Craig, of credit card fraud. So that led to an argument betwixt Margaret and Candace, which led to Margaret's death. Okay? So, flash forward a little bit. They say that the 19-year-old daughter of Candace, a woman named Celia Hardy, found the body of Margaret in a plastic bin and then decided to help dismember and dispose of the body. They believe that the 2 women used a chainsaw to cut Granny's body up and then threw the body parts on a grill and a bonfire in attempts to burn and destroy the body parts. Either way, they searched the house. They say that the remains were so badly decomposed that you can't do a physical identification of the body. So they're hoping, and they're 98% sure that DNA testing is going to come back and say, yeah, this is definitely Margaret. Nonetheless, both women were arrested. Candace is being popped for murder, and then Celia has been arrested and being charged with accessory after the fact.
It's one thing to kill somebody, I think. I think it's a completely other to dismember them.
Yeah.
And another for it to be Meemaw.
Right. The human body contains a lot of blood. Like, more than I want to see at one point in time. So I feel as soon as you start hacking away with a chainsaw, that's just going to be a bloody mess everywhere.
It's like putting together a swing set in your backyard. You're like, I can do this. And then you get in, you're like, I'm going to need some help.
Right. So you call your kids to come help you put the swing set together.
Yeah. If you've ever put together a swing set in the last 5 years, it shows up and you're like, okay, yeah, I could do this. And then on day 2, you're like, we'll put that on later.
Right. Kids don't need a swing, do they?
Yeah.
Nah.
I think the monkey bar sat in my garage for a good year.
They're not going to be able to reach up there and grab it anyway.
Right, exactly. Do you think Meemaw was a bad person, abusive, maybe?
Are you justifying
have
it?
to be?
Are you implying that if she was, then she probably should be dismembered?
No. But would she have to be for it to be like,
You brought it up.
okay?
You brought it up. You tell me.
Well, I look at Dexter, like the show Dexter.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show, 918-460-KMOD. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Toasting to our troops coming up here in a minute from Shinerbach and KMOD. But first, we got to see what Gimpy has in his 4x4.
Well, Coleman, it says here that Blinken speaks on U.S. report on Israel conduct. A new report from the State Department says Israel most likely violated international standards in failing to protect civilians in Gaza. Secretary of State Abe Blinken says that it's difficult to make a definite assessment due to the, quote, incredibly complex military environment. Incredibly complex military environment. He noted that Hamas militants embedded themselves among civilians. Abe Blinken said the assessment is ongoing. The news comes as tensions are rising betwixt the Biden administration and Israel over possible full-scale invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza. It says here a Virginia school board is voting to restore Confederate names in 2 of its schools. The Shenandoah County School Board has voted. They voted in 2020 to remove the names of Confederate Generals Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee from local schools to affirm the district's commitment to an inclusive school environment. Now, during a meeting last week, the school board voted to restore the names, saying the change was, quote, wrongly done and lacked public input. My bad.
They wanted to overthrow the U.S. government. So let's have a school named after.
Absolutely, you should. It's part of history.
Why they have books.
Right, and schools dedicated. And I digress. Hey, nearly half of the master's degrees have a negative ROI. Gee, who'd have thought? New analysis by the Founders for Research on Equal Opportunity says that over 40% of master's degrees aren't financially worth getting. The study looks at career earnings at graduation and a decade later while adjusting for factors such as dropout rates. And then lastly here, Copan is in a boil water situation per officials. The Copan Fire Department said that it came from old Mayor Pete Elkins. And said residents should boil their water or bottling water for drinks, food preparation, and dishwashing and brushing their teeth. Washington County Emergency Management said it was issued because of the turbidity was too high, which means it's too cloudy.
That's what she said.
The 64-team field for the 2024 NCAA Division I softball championship is set. Texas is the top seed. Oklahoma, going for its 4th straight national title, is the 2 seed. Tennessee is the 3rd seed, while Florida is the 4th. Regionals are going to be held May 17th through May 19th. 16 teams will advance to the Super Regionals, which will be held May 23rd through May 26th. 8 teams will move on. The Women's College World Series, which will be held in Oklahoma City beginning May 30th. The Chicago Cubs did something over the weekend not done in 65 years, or to be more truthful about it, they didn't do something, which is swing the bat. Over the course of 6 consecutive batters, not one of them put the ball in play, and all 6 got RBIs. Here's the breakdown. The inning started with heralded Pittsburgh Pirates rookie pitcher Paul Skeens giving up 2 hits in the 5th inning, ending his otherwise impressive major league debut. 3 relievers came in to try to put out the fire, but did nothing but throw gasoline on it. Kyle Nicholas came on, struck out 2 batters, and hit Ian Happ with a pitch. And that was the high point for the inning for Pittsburgh. Nicholas then walked 3 straight batters without throwing a strike, forcing in 3 runners, and still the bases were loaded. Then Josh Fleming came in and walked Yan Gomez on 5 pitches before giving up an infield single to Mike Tauchman. Then, believe it or not, the skies opened up and the game was delayed for almost 2.5 hours. But still the bases were loaded with 2 outs when play resumed. In came Colin Holderman, who walked Seiya Suzuki on 4 pitches and Cody Bellinger on 5 to give Chicago, which trailed 6-1 entering the inning, an 8-6 lead. Holderman retired pitch hitter Nick Madrigal on a line drive to put a merciful end to the inning. To make things even more insane, the Pirates would end up winning the game 10-9. And to put it in historical perspective, the last team to draw that many free passes with runners at every base in one inning was the Chicago White Sox, who had 8 in the 7th inning on April 22nd, 1959. And in the expansion era since 1961, there's only been one other instance of a team to have at least 6 bases loaded walks an entire game, and that was the Boston Red Sox against the White Sox on May 7th back in 1992.
It's wild.
Yeah. Ricky Alderete, 45 years old, arrested after a Jackie Robinson statue went missing from Wichita, Kansas Youth Baseball League back in January, has pled guilty. He did this on Thursday to theft and other charges. Alderete could face more than 19 years behind bars when he's sentenced on July 1st. The district attorney's office told ESPN. In addition to theft, he will be sentenced for aggravated burglary, aggravated criminal damage to property, interference with law enforcement, criminal damage to property, making a false writing, and identity theft. The crimes are related to the theft as well as his identification and arrest, the district attorney's office said. The prosecutor's office also said that Alderete will be forced to pay $41,500 to League 42, the youth baseball outfit named after the Brooklyn Dodgers legend. There have been no more arrests connected to the case, but using surveillance video, police said there were at least 2 other individuals present when the statue was cut, leaving the bronze replicas of Robinson's cleats behind and stolen from Wichita's McAdams Park, where League 42 plays its games. Parts of the statue were later found charred from a fire in another park just 7 miles away. A GoFundMe page set up by the league raised nearly $200,000 before the fundraising link was closed on February 5th, less than 2 weeks from when the statue went missing. Lutz estimated that League 42 received between $500,000 and $600,000 in total. Major League Baseball has pledged to pay for the statue to be rebuilt. As a coordinated effort among clubs, Lutz said League 42 has received a $100,000 check from Major League Baseball for the new statue, as well as security and lighting around it. League 42 had its opening day without the statue in place on Jackie Robinson Day in April. The new statue is expected to be unveiled in August. Police believe the theft was motivated by the financial gain of scrapping common metal.
I was wondering if it was going to be for copper, if there was like malice involved in terms of like he didn't like black people.
Right. Or just wanted it in his backyard. But you think, if you get, I guess if you know a shady scrapyard somewhere, they take it. But you just can't show up to any old scrapping yard and be like, I got the statue here. I'd like to unload it on you.
Well, that was the problem, and I don't know if it's changed yet, but with catalytic converters, is there no log. So, you turn it in, they just take it, they sell it, right?
Right.
And the junkyards the metal yards don't have to keep track of it. I don't know if that's true with copper.
Yeah,
I don't know if copper, part of trying to stop thefts is to track copper purchases and sales and all that other stuff that happens at, buyback places.
Right. Yeah,
I don't know if that's... That is that much of a thing. By the way, did you say how many years?
How many years?
He's looking at?
19.
Damn.
Remember what we said about the murder thing? The Bitcoin? How many years they were getting? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember the years.
It was
9.
less, 9. Yeah.
But
Does that seem right?
And he could get more than 19 years.
Does that seem right? Does it seem like someone who tries to pay someone to have somebody killed gets 9, and someone who's just trying to get money, not okay, by the way, gets 20?
The person that tried to have somebody killed didn't actually have anybody killed, so ultimately that's, nothing really
Nobody
happened.
died here.
Right.
Well, yeah, but this guy actually physically stole the statue.
This person physically set up the arrangement. It was all done except for the...
Intention to
They thought
have
it was gonna
someone
happen.
murdered.
Yeah, I hear you. In terms of actual things that happened,
Yeah.
this one person physically took metal.
Yeah.
But in my mind, they should be reversed. The person that stole the copper should get 9 years, And the person who wanted to kill someone as a solution, get 20.
Absolutely.
To me, it should be a
100%.
harsher punishment.
Yeah. I think the whole reason behind the whole 19 years is because of the cost of the search, the money that was spent looking for the statue and whatnot. But still, we're talking about a human life. Yeah.
But there was no attempt made.
Well, in their mind, there was. In their mind, they made the transaction and it was a done deal.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
were going to. They had the plans, and if the other person wouldn't have, gone to the authorities,
Done the
maybe
right
would have
thing.
gone through.
Right.
Who knows? But nobody actually died. That person just spent money for nothing.
That's your Balls to the Wall Sports. I'm Lindsay at 97.5 KMOD.
Balls to the Wall Sports is powered by the award-winning service of Groundworks Tulsa. More of the Big Mad Morning Show is next.
The Big Mad Morning Show returns next.
In the morning.
Witching hour.
So the firefighters came in, and they're battling through the smoke-filled lobby, and they find the fire, the source of it. The couch is on fire. They put it out with their little water can. They say that the damages cost a couple of $100,000 to this couch, and the wall that was behind it totally scorched, burnt up. Pictures are on our Facebook page. They ended up arresting the girl. They didn't say what the girl and the mom were fighting over, and they didn't say what led to, her wanting to set the couch on fire. My guess is probably just angry teen and probably had some alcohol involved in there somewhere. That's just my theories on it. Nonetheless, they went ahead and arrested her for arson, and the investigation continues.
So many things on this. They don't let you get your luggage. Like, you went out of the hotel, and then they're like, you can't go back in.
Right.
So you got to go find a place without your stuff.
Right.
Wallet probably.
Right.
Credit cards probably.
Maybe your phone.
And so all you're in is your skirt, your tidy whities or whatever.
So you're talking about the 320 guests that were evacuated. They did let them all go back in. All the guests were allowed to go back into their room and go back to sleep after it was all said and done.
I'm shocked by that because
Yeah.
the sprinkler system has gone off.
But just
and it flooded the floor.
the lobby area, though. Just the first floor and that lobby area. Anybody
Still feels like danger, Will
2
Robinson.
through 9. Oh, I totally get you. Smoke damage, smoke inhalation, whatever. I was surprised that they let them all go back in as well, but that's what they said.
Dude, I was unaware that sprinkler systems in a building go off by floor.
Yeah, I thought it was all
All
automatic
at one time.
everywhere.
Yeah. Maybe this is a different one. But the story did say that they let all 320 guests or everybody that was evacuated go back to their room later on that morning, probably about 5:30 or so. Still, 3:30 in the morning, you woke up, you're probably on vacation.
Sure.
You gotta evacuate. Everybody go meet in the parking lot over there by the fourth
By the Bob Evans.
street light.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then you're waiting there for hours.
Hours.
Yeah, after they get everything cleaned up, 'cause
Smoke
they're-
fills the whole place.
Oh yeah. And they're like, you can go back. I'd probably be like, okay, I'm gonna go get my stuff, and I'm gonna check out and go find another place. And then we'll deal with reimbursement after this.
All right. Then the other thing I was thinking about, your kid does this. What do you do?
What's the punishment?
Right. We'll deal with this when we get home.
How old was the girl?
16.
Yeah, like, what do you do?
You're grounded. Grounded
No
for
screens.
arson.
Yeah.
Right. She's 16 and went to jail for arson. So chances are this parent or the parents are going to be like, well, she went to jail and she's being charged. And they're probably going to take out the couple $100,000 worth of damage out of her
Right, that's
allowance.
a whole... Well, yeah, right?
Right.
Feels too late. Like, you already, she's
So
already...
give up. Okay. Give up on your kid. Okay.
No. I'm not saying that.
You're a lost cause. I tried
Yeah,
for
that's what you
16
said. It's
years.
too late.
Why don't you go live on the streets with the rest of the crackheads?
No, but I mean, like, it's too late to be like, you're grounded for, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, typically punishments come after the infraction.
sure, but she's in
It'd
jail.
be weird. It'd be weird to ground your kid like you're a precog or something for something that hasn't happened yet.
She's in
I don't
jail.
know what you did yet, but you're grounded. I know you're going to do something. grounded.
I hope jail kind of wakes her up a bit.
Well, she's not going to jail.
She did. They arrested her.
But she went to juvie.
Right.
Okay.
And she probably may not spend a whole lot of time
Which
in
is
there.
which is an education system.
Right.
I mean, there's probably going to be big time fine. She's going to have to go to court.
Her parents will pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She will not be paying. That's what I'm saying. Like, she is going to be released probably to their
Yeah. She'll be paying it
supervision.
back. If she's my kid.
No, she won't be paying back.
If she's my kid, she is.
No.
She's going to be working it off. Hard labor.
For 40 years?
Busting rocks in the backyard.
This isn't you bought her an iPhone.
right.
Tink.
This is, as Gimpy said, if not 2 commas, it is definitely 100,000. She would be paying back forever.
You owe me every paycheck for the rest of your life.
Well, that makes no sense either.
When you retire, I want your retirement. I want your 401k.
See what I'm saying? Like, it just creates all these questions.
2 Subway employees shot over too much mayo.
Okay, I was like, sandwich or
Yes.
tunnel?
In Atlanta, police responded to a shooting at a Subway location inside of a Circle K. Reportedly, a customer became irate when too much mayonnaise was squirted onto his sandwich. That's when he allegedly opened fire, hitting 2 female employees, one of which was fatally wounded, and the other is in serious condition. The store's owner says a third employee fired back at the unnamed gunman.
What?
Yeah, but he
A
missed.
third employee. That means the employee had a gun.
Yeah.
Well, by God, we got to save them sandwiches somehow, Corbin.
Yeah. The suspect is in custody. Police said that the woman was killed was 26 years old. A 24-year-old employee was shot in front of her 5-year-old son. She's the one that's in critical condition. The woman was hit twice after she pushed her son out of the way under the counter to keep him from being hurt. The co-owner of the Subway said that a third worker had definitely shot at the gunman. He missed, but at least he put up a little fight, he said. Atlanta police officer said that this was a case of someone with a gun who didn't know how to resolve conflict without resorting to violence. They did not release the identity of the worker who was killed because they were still waiting for family members to be informed, but said both of the employees were young women who had just started at the location about 3 weeks ago. And the customer had been in the Subway location before without ever having an incident. The interim chief of police said so far arguments are the majority cause of homicides this year in Atlanta.
There's a lot going on in this story.
Boy, I tell you.
Your 5-year-old kid was there?
Yeah.
That's what I thought was bizarre. Okay, I get it. You got to go to work. You can't find a babysitter, but
Or can't afford one?
Or I
Can't
was
afford
thinking
one.
too, or maybe she was going to get off in like 20 minutes and, maybe the dad dropped the child off. And,
No, that's also not okay.
Yeah, I know.
It's a weird thing for the 5-year-old to be there. Two, another employee had a gun on him.
Yeah.
The other thing too with Subways, they're everywhere.
right.
There was a time that I believe there were more Subways than McDonald's and Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and all that. Like they were the most widely dispersed chain.
Yeah, especially for sub sandwiches. Faux show. They had the corner market there. But then some other places started
I think
coming
they're
out.
still pretty high up on the list.
You think so?
Absolutely. They're everywhere. You go anywhere, there's a Subway.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Anywhere.
Got 'em
Convenient.
inside,
They're so
gas stations
easy.
and stuff.
It's not like a Chick-fil-A, right? Like you go, there are towns that just don't have Chick-fil-A's. I would bet almost every town has a Subway
Oh, yeah.
sandwich shop.
And if you're putting too much mayonnaise on mine, I'm giving you a tip. If I don't have to ask for it.
Here's the deal. You can tell them to stop anytime because
Yeah.
you're sitting there watching them make your sandwich. You see how much of everything that they put on. You could have been like, whoa, dial it back on the mayonnaise,
Yeah.
man.
Or you can say light mayo or
Right, but what's light mayo?
light on the mayo.
Yeah, but how much is
so
light? Your light
a
and
little
my light are
squirt.
not the same.
Yeah.
And I'm the artist here.
All right. These are the most
True.
popular sandwich chains in America. Okay? This is what it says. Blimpie? Have you ever had a Blimpie?
Yeah.
I have, but it's not most popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most locations,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because I can name my favorite sandwich shop, but it's not everywhere.
Right.
And I would wager the majority of people in this town have never eaten at it. right? So you can't go with most popular. You have to have which sandwich shop has the most locations.
Largest sandwich chain in the U.S. Oh, here we go. Fun. This is as of 2020, so it's a couple of years old. But it says largest sandwich chain, so does that quantify
I think so,
as it could be?
Sure.
Okay. Continue to the site. Subway comes in at number 6.
Oh.
It has their rankings on
What's
here.
number 1?
I got to scroll down. It doesn't have the number 1 listed on the quick list.
Well, what's number 5?
Listen, here's how it goes. 6, 18, 34, 46, 58, 63, 69, 89, 99, 100. There's nothing really. It says
Okay.
rank in there.
Big Mad Morning Show, 918-460-KMOD. Can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Corbin. Money, 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 money. $1,000 could be yours in less than 1 hour when you rock the bank. Listen for that nationwide keyword, and when you hear it, enter it online at the website that rocks, KMOD.com. Maybe pay off some bills or buy some concert tickets. Whatever you do with that money, it is yours. You've got 8 more chances after 9 to win throughout the day, so good luck.
Good morning, Gimpy.
Well, good morning, Corbin. The loudest weekend of the year is coming up. Labor Day weekend, Prior USA. That's Rocklahoma 2024, Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, and a buttload more. You can get your full lineup and your link for tickets at the website that rocks, KMOD.com.
All right, let's go ahead and do Our Listeners Are Awesome, and we like to toast our troops in the month of May, and we've teamed up with Shinerbach to hook people up that we talk to on the phone that are veterans, highlighting their story. Not only going to get a case of Shinerbach, but dinner for 2 at Mondo's Italian Restaurant. On the line with us right now is Riley. Hey, Riley, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys today?
I'm good. Riley is been married for 3 years, so are you officially out of the newlywed phase?
Yeah, some people say, the newlywed phase is up to 5 years, but I figure whenever she gets tired of wanting to do other stuff, that's when you're out of the newlywed phase.
How did you meet her?
So I met her when I was stationed in Newport, Rhode Island. My wife, that's where she went to college out there at Salve Regina. She was getting her master's degree, and we just I met her at a bar one time, and the rest is history.
And how did you woo her? How did you impress her?
I like to think my natural charm, but she just we met at a bar and then went to a Barnes & Noble, and books were the way to her heart. So I think that had something to do with it.
Barnes & Noble, what section do you take her to?
Well, I took her to the poetry. I wanted her to see my more sensitive side.
You're lying.
Swear on both of our lives, the poetry section.
There's no way that was the first time you've ever done that. So what's your go-to poetry?
No, well, normally you just go to the What's New and you crack open a few different books and you look real interested and you're trying to read some and you're like, oh yeah, this line, and then you recite it. You make sure that whichever one she finds, you continue to slip it in anniversary cards every once in a while. So
just love bombing, man. I love it. So you were in the Navy. What age were you when you joined the Navy, and why'd you join?
So, yeah, I was 19. I had done a semester at college at the University of Arkansas. It really wasn't for me. I needed some more stability and a little bit more structure in my life. I needed to grow up. And the military was the route that I took. So, yeah, when I was 19, I joined.
And so you just were looking for something a little more, as you said, stable, something to give you some structure?
Yeah, I needed to grow up and put my big boy pants on and realize that the real world was out there. And so I didn't just, flub around and go from job to job and just be a deadbeat,
Was Navy your first choice?
Actually, it wasn't. When I initially walked in, I was trying to join the Air Force. And the Air Force recruiter had a big sign that said, out to golf, we'll be back in a month or two. And I walked by the Navy recruiter, and he was like, Air Force is out today. I was like, they sure are. He's like, come in and let me talk to you. And I was like, oh, okay. So.
And what did you specialize in the Navy?
So I was a CB, which is I was a builder, which is general construction. CBs make up 7 different jobs, all construction related: electricians, plumbers, construction mechanics, equipment operators, and builders and welders. So I was a builder. I did general construction, laborer, stick framing, finished construction, concrete, masonry, any of those type things.
And is that what you wanted to do, getting into the Navy, or is that just what you ended up doing?
That was just kind of what I ended up doing. Originally, I wanted to join and be a bomb tech, an EOD tech. But the recruiter was like, hey, that's, we got 12 months of wait for that. And I was like, all right, well, what do you got that ships out sooner than that? And he was giving me a bunch of jobs. And I was like, I know this is the Navy, but I don't really want to be on a boat. I was like, what you got? And he was like, you ever heard of CBs? I was like, oh, yeah, because my great uncle was a Vietnam Marine or Vietnam vet. He was a Marine, and he would tell me stories about CBs all the time. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And, listen to what the recruiter had to say about them and was really intrigued. And so I ended up going that route.
And so you go through boot, you get all done with all that. Your first assignment is where?
My first, so I go to NMCB3, which is Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 3. That's in Port Hueneme, California. I was there, did a tour in the Middle East right when I got there in Afghanistan, and then went to Cambodia. I did 2 tours in Cambodia, which was a whole different world over there.
When you're on Afghanistan building and you need something, you don't go to Lowe's. How do you make that happen?
No, so we have, you can do local contractors. There are local stores that do sell that type stuff to us, or then you just get it back from the States. Your local or your supply rep will reach back out to your unit that's stationed stateside or the local unit, and they'll have it prepared for you, put on a bird, shipped over to you, and then you just receive it on the flight line, and hopefully they got everything right and you don't have to wait.
Being in the Navy 12 years doing this, what is your proudest accomplishment?
I would say one of my proudest accomplishments was when I was in Cambodia. Those were both peacetime tours, so there was obviously no combat, but the things that we were doing, we were building infrastructure. We were building 5-stall head facilities over there. That was our main mission, as well as water well drilling, because the local economy there, if there even is one, can't support those types of things. And so kids, when they get to a certain age, they just drop out of school because there's no privacy for females. They have no bathrooms. So we would build those bathrooms to enable the young females to be able to continue their education. We would renovate schools so that we could help them have more stability and get that education to grow and be better people.
Well, that's got to be something you didn't think that would be on the agenda joining the Navy, is you would go and help rebuild schools or renovate schools for education.
Purely had my blinders on, didn't know what anything was going to be like. But when I joined, the war was dying down, so we really were looking for new missions and really kind of didn't know where we were going to go with our peacetime stuff. So a lot of what we were doing was we were in the Pacific, so a lot of different debt sites doing those type things.
And it says here, well, let me ask you this, a follow-up on that. I asked you what was the thing you were most proud of. What was the most scared you ever were doing this type of mission work?
Well, most scared was probably not necessarily in the green time, but in wartime, just not knowing what you're doing, especially when you would go out and do what's called probe patrols. So you're going out there trying to get enemy contact to, find out where the enemies are. And so you're just going in there and you're walking whatever your patrol route is and just wanting or needing to get into some kind of fight because that's your mission. That's probably the most scared I've ever been.
So explain that, because you were just talking about how what you did was building and stuff, and here you are going on patrols. Explain why that happened.
Yeah, so CBs, we're built, or our main mission is construction, but we're also a ground element. We are trained in combat. I went to combat school. So that is in our bread and butter. It's in our blood. So we're trained in patrols. We're trained in convoys. I was trained in all that type stuff. I was a 240 gunner. So I was trained in heavy weaponry. So yeah, we're trained in that. So when your element or your fire team's not building, you're doing what else we need to do, which is sometimes patrols, supporting Marines, supporting Army. So.
You might surprise some people to hear you say, "Oh, I was in the Navy and everything was done on land. I built things and went on patrols on land."
Yeah.
yeah. We're considered Seabees are considered the redheaded stepchild of the Navy because nobody but Seabees really understand us or our lingo, and everybody, we're dirt sailors. People are like, "Oh, you've never been on a ship. You don't get your shell back. You don't cross the prime meridian or the equator. You're not a real sailor," but we still fall under them, obviously. There was a time that the Navy wanted to get rid of us, and the Marines were like, "Well, we love them. We'll make every single one of them a Marine." And then the Navy was like, No, that's our toy. We don't want to get rid of them. We'll keep them. And I'm like, okay, but like I said, we're kind of different from everybody else.
What was the camaraderie like with the other branches? Like you mentioned, the Marines and the Army when they would come across dirt sailors.
Oh, I mean, the Marines. I've never met a Marine that didn't love CVs, especially a combat Marine. Because we'll build everything that they need us to build the shelter, and then we fight right alongside them. So a lot of them have a lot of respect for us, which I love. Marines, Army, yeah, they're not too bad, I guess. Having to deal with some of them, but yeah, I don't have a problem with any of them, and they never had a problem with us that we couldn't settle for sure. But yeah, it's a different beast. They also have to be like, "Oh, you're in the Navy? I thought you were in the Marines or whatever."
What about interactions with SEAL Team? It says here to ask you when you were working with SEAL Team 3.
Yeah, so that was my last tour. I was stationed in Coronado, and I was attached to SEAL Team 3 out there. And we were part of a task force in the Middle East in a country that was in the Middle East. Can't say too much, but where we were at. But yeah, they're a whole different beast. They just like to. They don't really fall into the Navy rules. So a lot of times you'll be telling them something and they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know we were supposed to do that. I didn't know how to update my pay. I don't know how to do normal administrative stuff, but I know how to shoot people." And I'm like, "Yep, you sure do, buddy. Like that's your specialty."
Yeah, my interactions with SEALs have always been like, we do one thing really well and don't care about any of the other stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly
it. And how long were you involved with the SEAL Team?
I was there for 5 years. I did one full workup and one deployment with them. So that's about 24, 26 months of working with them directly.
I had one friend who was attached to a SEAL team, and when we would talk on satellite phone, he would always be like, "I can't say, no information." Not like even if it was sunny where he was at, he couldn't share any information.
Yep. Yeah, that was probably one of the hardest things for my wife was because you can't tell them either or your family. I was just like, "I'm gone. I'll be gone. I can talk to you when I can talk to you. Unless somebody shows up at the door with a flag, I'm probably okay. I'm going to be doing ops with them. I'm going to be running missions, but everything's going to be okay until it's not, and you can't really tell them. And it's 6 months of them sitting there wondering, and you can't even tell them when you're going to be home. You can't tell them when you're leaving. It's definitely tough.
What about, I don't know how to word this, so it might come out a little clunky, but did you feel safer with SEAL teams, even though you were in more dangerous situations?
Yes, sometimes. On our mission set, we were heavily involved. I was heavily involved. I ran operations for our side of the house, which integrated with their operations. So like I said, I was out with them, but I felt safe because I did all the training that I was supposed to do with them. So we gelled very well. They respected us and I respected them. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, definitely felt safe but at times it was a much different environment than even Afghanistan.
All right, so you in your contract with the Navy. What does that last few months look like getting out or looking towards getting out, and what the future was going to be? How'd you decide to go into the career you went into? How do you make those decisions?
Well, a lot of it is so the career field that I went into. I'm working on my degree plan, or on my degrees. I was going through school when I was in, so I don't have a degree yet. So this is one of the fields that I could easily come into with my background and knowledge of building and construction that I fit into, and that is going to allow me to grow within the company as well as grow this company. But the last few months, it just kind of depends on your leadership. A lot of my leadership didn't want me to get out. A lot of them were saying, like, you're going to regret this decision. We can't lose you, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, you guys will be just fine. And then once they finally realized that, they would try to talk me out of it. Every day would be like, hey, did you reconsider this and that? Like, no. And once I finally made that decision, I kind of felt almost excommunicated at times, because they look at you like you're, a lot of them, not all of them, but look at you like you're a traitor, that you couldn't hack it, you couldn't you didn't want to retire out of it, you couldn't do your full 20, this and that. So a lot of times it was tough, but I had a few good leaders that really helped me make the transition and really helped me out in every way that they could.
So you're physically home. Are you mentally home, or do you still go back?
I mean, I'm mentally as much as you can be. There's plenty of times that my wife will catch me staring off into space, and, it's got to bring me back, and that's pretty normal, I would say, for us, which makes it tough being in the civilian world, not really surrounded by the same type mental people. So sometimes people don't really understand those types of things, and it becomes tough. Especially when you lose your train of thought, you get mind fatigue, and it's just completely different mind fatigue than, what somebody that does in a 9 to 5. And I don't mean to diminish what other people go through either,
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep your mind straight being back and dealing with those feelings? Because as you mentioned, your wife can't really understand, and a lot of civilians don't understand. How do you manage that mental load?
A lot of what I try to do is routine based. So I always like to, especially Monday through Friday, get up, go work out, eat my breakfast, same time, do my day, eat my lunch. I try to get in a routine as best I can. That way it keeps me focused on the task ahead, and there's not as many lulls and not as much downtime to allow myself to drift off into something else. And then even when I do find myself in those times, it's one of those, okay, acknowledge the thought. You've had this thought, acknowledge it, note it, and carry on. Don't let it consume you. That's definitely my biggest piece of advice for anybody. Like, do your best to not let it consume you, whatever that means to you. And definitely find a way to continue to push through. Like, we were all trained to push through the hard stuff, and then let's keep it going.
Yeah, it feels like what I'm hearing you say is when you were in, they told you what to do, when to do, and how to do it, and then you get out and you're left to your own vices to figure that out, and it feels kind of hard to navigate in the beginning. So you're implementing a system that is very similar to, hey, this is where I go at this time, this is what I'm in. When you say you're going to be somewhere at 2 o'clock, you're there at 2 o'clock. Yeah,
when I say, like, my wife hates this, but when I'm like, okay, we have an appointment at 2, I'm there at 1:30. I'm never late. I'm always 30 minutes early. That way, because it's drilled into me for 12 years that if you're on time, you're late. If you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. If you're 30 minutes early, you're early. So a lot of it is I'm early to the early.
And to anybody that's listening that is a vet that's struggling to get to the place that you're at, what do you have to say to them?
I wouldn't say that I'm in the world's best place, but my piece of advice is find something that works for you, whether it be a hobby, a group like you guys had that guy on last week that was in the Combat Vet Motorcycle Club, if that's, or a motorcycle group, if that's your thing, find a family. There's always the VFW. There's always American Legion. There's Masons have vets. I mean, you just find a support group, no matter what that looks like to you, and you find somebody that's going to listen and talk, and find your regiment. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I like that. Riley, thank you so much for your service, of course, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Good luck on your degrees. What are your degrees going to be in?
So I'm going to Arizona State University online. I'm pursuing a degree in urban planning as well as geographic information sciences. So a double major.
What does geographic sciences do?
So it's like a newer version of geography meets cartography meets surveying. They make a lot of maps, and using like Google Earth is a big format that they use, as well as ArcGIS. And I could go into it, but potentially pretty much maps is what they do.
Okay, sounds like a lot of standing in a hot field.
Well, not with a degree. You get to sit in an air conditioner.
Well done, sir. Well done. Riley, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, man, and congratulations on that new bride, and all the best to you, brother.
Thanks. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. I love listening to the show, and appreciate you guys doing this.
Right on, man. Have the best day. Thanks so much, Riley.
You as well.
All right, see you later. That's Riley. Our listeners are awesome. Toast to our troops. If you have a vet you'd like to honor, we want to talk to them. Get your submission at the contest page at KMOD.com. When we get a vet on the air, we're going to hook him up this month with a case of Shiner Bock and dinner for two at Mondo's Italian Restaurant in the heart of Brookside, part of our Toast to Our Troops. Take a break, and we'll be back.
Tulsa's morning.
Work, okay? You expect more from me?
Yeah, I think if you go to someone's house and they're making, like, let's just say dinner still, you got to take something.
Yeah.
I did. I brought
Even
my
a
appetite.
dessert or wine, whatever.
Yeah.
Something.
It's just manners, Gimpy, right?
Right. Yeah, sure.
No?
Listen, y'all invited me over. Okay, cool. I'll come over and have dinner. That's all right. Doesn't mean I have to bring a bottle of wine or a six-pack or a bottle of anything for that fact. That's that. Unless you say so, hey, BYOB, bring a bottle, bring a side item. We'll get the main course. That happens to me a lot. We got the main courses. Come on over for barbecue, whatever. Bring a side item. All right, cool. Tater salad it is.
I've never gone to someone's house and, like, looked around and said to myself, that's so dirty here.
Oh.
Ugh.
Wow.
What, do they have lives? Right? I don't go, their sheets, they didn't even make their bed. I don't do all that.
Oh, I bet you have.
Look down my
No.
nose at you.
Because life happens.
Depends on the level of the filth, right? If you walk into somebody's house,
If you're
and
a
it looks
hoarder?
like hoarders, yeah, exactly.
I ain't going to your house. I already know you're a hoarder.
But this is the first time you didn't realize that they were disgusting people or hoarders until you walk into their house,
Oh,
right?
no. You
get
can read a
totally
hoarder a
thrown
mile
off
away.
guard.
No, you can read a hoarder a mile away.
Hoarder.
Yeah, you can read a hoarder a mile away.
You just tell by the way they dress, their lack of showering.
Or by their vehicle.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, right? I think absolutely.
But you still don't say anything. You just kind of watch where you sit down, maybe scooch the newspapers or whatever,
Yeah.
paper plates with leftover pizza rolls on them, and hang out for a little bit. And I gotta go.
If I'm going to judge, I'm judging, like, I'm going to judge the food. So I'm not going to judge, like, hey, your bed wasn't made.
No.
I'm going to judge, oh, my God, you served Brussels sprouts or whatever that is.
Right.
I'm not going to get all like, ugh, you didn't clean for my arrival.
Right. 'Cause you're right. Life happens.
Life
especially
happens.
if you've got small children.
Oh, and you're having a dinner party.
Right. You can expect toys to be all over the place. Now, there's a difference between, a little clutter, kids don't know how to pick up their toys, and your house looks like Ross, dressed for less. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would think if you're hosting a dinner party, you would want to clean up.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
But that's not necessarily true, especially if you're like, hey, come over tonight, we're having pizza. Pizza feels like there's no cleaning happening.
Yeah, it's okay to have your laundry still piled up on the back of the couch from like 4 days.
You should at least pick it up and throw it on your bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Give me a place to sit.
Right. Just move the panties over. It'll be fine.
It's always like, I've gone and I stopped getting in the car with this person when I went to get in their car and they're like, hold on. And they had to like unload a bunch of stuff from the seat and the floorboard into the back seat so I could sit down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you invited me to get in your car.
You should have had that fixed up beforehand.
Or just don't invite me into your car.
I'm with you.
Right? If you don't have a place for me to sit, what are you doing inviting me over?
I just like the company.
I'm not a charity. Yeah. So that would be, I'm judging food. What do you judge? What's your judge when you go to someone's house? If it's
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness?
Probably, yeah. Especially if you're having a dinner party.
Yeah, I might do that too.
Uh-huh.
Gimpy?
Definitely cleanliness. Now, it doesn't have to be sparkling like you walk in and everything's ting, 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 No. But if you're inviting people over, dinner party, or just to hang out and have a smoke sesh, you might want to just kind of pick up the bulk of
Smoke
things
sesh.
first.
You're so bougie. Like,
Yeah.
You're going over get high and you're like, man, the house was so dirty.
Yeah.
So dirty.
Well, yeah, if you got to, you can't put your soda down or your water down on the table because, it's littered with empty cans.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
Go get a damn trash bag.
But
Clear off the table
Yes.
and it'll be fine.
Yes.
I'm not saying you have to run the vacuum.
Right.
All right? Just don't make people come in and be like, oh, God. Oh, God. And furthermore, Susan, if it smells a little bit, just spray something. Just spray something in the air. You don't want to walk into somebody's house and get hit with a brick wall of stank. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to be careful too. Don't go crazy. Right? If you're unloading half a can of Lysol,
Right. You're
you're
obviously
covering up a
something up.
smell.
Yeah.
Right?
Which will reveal itself in a
In
little
due
bit.
time.
Yes.
It's not permanent.
It smells like wildflowers and ass
Yeah. Is it Febreze?
and mold.
Febreze is literally advertised to cover up stink,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
which means you have a problem if there's stink in the
Yeah.
house. What about a toilet bowl that's got a pink ring in it?
I'm not judging that.
Gross.
It's pink mold.
Yeah.
It's mold
Gross.
Yeah.
in the toilet bowl.
Yeah. That's okay.
Ugh.
Now, I mean, there's a difference between is there sitting urine or like, Mr. Hanky, is he taking
Skid
a little
marks.
swim right there?
There's some rubbing is racing.
Right. Like,
Gross.
previous person was a freckler. I get what you're talking about. Yeah. Dude, that happens, bro. That happens in everybody's house. I'm hoping that you would, at least go in there and take that little brush and whirl around a little bit.
But you didn't.
You didn't, exactly. But I mean, it is what it is. Everybody poops. Everybody has that, whatever you may need a knife for. It's okay.
Bidet, dude. Bidet. Bidet.
Right. I get it. That cleans the skid marks off of your end, but I mean, this is down on the porcelain. I don't think it works like that.
Eat some fiber. What's the strangest type of bird that you'd be willing to eat, such as a shoebill stork? You know what a shoebill stork is, Lindsay?
No.
Look it
I
up.
mean,
Look up shoebill stork. Shoebill stork. It will, if I remember correctly, this is a very bizarre looking bird. It almost looks human-like.
Got a giant honking schnoz.
It is terrifying.
Yeah.
It will haunt you in your nightmares. If I remember right, it makes a horrendous sound. A very loud noise. It's not like a beautiful
Yeah,
chirping
yeah.
or anything. It's a very loud noise. Mm-hmm. It's the shoebill stork. You see it?
yeah.
Okay, so what is your pick going to be?
Probably a. What's the one? What are the We call him. My husband calls it a Harry Truman, and that's not what its real name. We see.
Dropping bombs?
Huh?
Is it just dropping bombs?
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show, 918-460-KMOD.
Can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Steve Buscemi got punched in the face walking down the street in New York City.
Man,
Isn't that terrible?
of all people, man, why would you go up and hit him in the face? He just seems like a frail old man.
I mean, the only way I could think is if he wanted to try and correct what was happening there.
Right. His eyes are.
But he's an awesome dude, right?
Yeah.
People don't know this about him. He was a fireman before he was an actor. So much, in fact, that when 9/11 happened, he went back to the fire station that was close to Ground Zero and helped out at that fire station. And then as time progressed, he even worked on site. Like went back to being a fireman.
Mm-hmm.
Just an all around that character trait right there puts him in the category of good dude.
Yeah.
And funny.
Yes. He's a great actor. Can be serious. Can be funny.
Yeah.
He looked funny. So I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I mean, I could be wrong. I have no idea. I wasn't there when this happened. I don't think the assailant did an interview.
Right.
Before.
Right.
Or maybe he doesn't like Steve Buscemi. Maybe he's been in some movies that he's not very happy about.
Right. Was it Happy Gilmore where he's the player that the character that has the kill list or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh man, that guy should have really had more line, whatever.
Right. Or didn't like his character in what? Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah, Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or when he was
Or
on The
Fargo.
Sopranos or whatever, Yeah.
Was he on Sopranos?
He was. He was Tony's cousin, Tony B.
Are you done with that yet?
I've got 3 more episodes left. I'm getting there.
Dude, I went down a rabbit hole. This isn't what we're going to talk about. But I went down a rabbit hole of watching Soprano ending reactions.
Yeah.
Red Wedding reactions in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And it was awesome.
Just the way people reacted to it?
Especially Red Wedding.
Yeah,
For those
that's a badass scene.
For those that don't know, in Game of Thrones, there's a scene where the episode starts with everyone and ends with everyone dead.
Yeah.
The whole episode
It's awesome.
it's a brilliant episode. And watching people try to like narrate it and talk about what's happening, like, oh, okay, yeah. And then like at the end they're like, oh God, what's happening? And you're like, yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Because they're narrating what's happening and when the rat and they get in a fight and all that, and then the mood transition to the wedding and they're like, yeah, I knew this was gonna happen, blah, blah, and they're like, oh God, dude, what's happening?
Didn't expect that.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. There were only a couple more times after that episode in Game of Thrones where you got torn for a spin. You were like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I think it was one of them for me was when Arya she was like the shapeshifter, I guess, sort of thing, and disguised herself as somebody else or whatnots, and then ended up killing that. I was like, what? I wasn't expecting that. That was an interesting moment. But yeah, that one, I think that Red Wedding, the Blood Wedding, whatever, is probably the greatest scene of the entire series.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, you got one better. You got one better.
When the who was the dragon? What's her name? Who has the
Daenerys.
Yes, when her brother gets killed. I love the way he died.
Yeah, I mean, that's all right when he poured that pot of melted gold on him.
Yes.
Yeah, that was all right, but nothing compared to the wedding scene.
Well, I would argue that is just a really crazy scene. Much like how it starts, right? Much like how it ends. There's crazy scenes, and then there's no way you could have predicted. The brother deserved to die.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Red Wedding, you're like, what's happening?
Yeah, I thought everybody's get together. We're going to have a party. It's great. And then everybody's dead.
Yeah. And I bet writing that show where they were like, once we do this, everyone will never trust us again throughout the series of the show.
Truth.
And that 100% the truth. Even times you'd be like, oh, here it comes. They're going to kill him. There must be a lot of happiness is happening.
Yeah.
So they're just going to slit everybody's throat.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
House of the Dragon. I don't know.
It's good, dude.
Yeah, it is. I was looking because It ain't come back yet.
No,
and I haven't heard anything about it coming back yet.
No, that's because they were going to take like a 2 or 3 year break.
Okay.
Because it was so popular, did so well, they knew they could just hold off.
And people would still be
Oh, yeah.
It still pops up like a screensaver on my TV because Cox does that when you ain't been watching TV for a while. That pops a screensaver up. And it's up there. I'm like, why are you teasing me with this?
It's really good.
Come on.
Doesn't want you to forget.
Netflix has this show called A Man in Full. And I watched it. It has the brother from Ozark that she got killed. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Uncle Ben or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. And the curly hair girl fell in love with him, and they were in a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he is in it. Diane Lane is in it, and the star of it, I think he's great, Jeff Daniels, plays the Southern Atlanta corporate bigwig, and has the Southern drawl, and it's pretty good. And it's an okay. It kind of tapers off near the end, but basically he's a developer and has a bunch of real estate, and they find out he owes all this money, and they go and call him due on bankrupt. And Bill Camp is in it, who's a fantastic actor, who really is destroys Jeff Daniels' character over and over again. They get in a vicious war of words that you're like, like just dogging on him.
All right.
Camp plays the bank guy who's like, no, you are gonna pay. Where Jeff Daniels' character is just this charming Southern guy who just gets what he wants when the dogs hunt the dog, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Tom Peffery, who's the guy from Ozark, he plays the nerdy assistant, and basically he also loves Jeff Daniels' character so much, he wants to bring him down and then like bang his ex-wife.
All right.
And does.
Okay.
At one point. And at one point, you see his penis.
Uh-oh.
And you're like, whoa, bro.
Well,
to,
all right.
To the point they're in the culmination, like it's ending, and Jeff Daniels' character sees him banging his ex-wife, and, they get crazy, and his towel falls off, and his Viagra-induced penis is on the screen, and Jeff Daniels' character goes, "Wow, I read that dog a hunt." And you're like, "Yeah, huh?
What?"
It's such a bizarre scene on how it ends, and then William Harper, who was in a couple other TV shows, was a really nice actor, like a really nice person, plays the mayor, a very corrupt mayor.
Okay.
Which is, he drops the F-bomb like 100 times or something. It's a really good show.
Not expecting that from him, huh?
No.
That's fun.
No. And Lucy Liu is in it. And it's okay. I would give it a 8 out of 10. It's okay if you don't see it.
Okay.
Oh.
Where like Game of Thrones, I would give like a 9 out of 10. Everyone should see that show.
Okay. I don't feel as bad for not having Netflix.
Yeah. It's good, but it's fine.
Right. I shouldn't run out and get a subscription just for this one show then.
No.
Gotcha.
No. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back.
Tulsa's morning show continues.
And the judge decided on the former. Back in 2019, Kevin Bacon, his body was found in Latunsky's home. He and Kevin Bacon met on a dating app, according to investigators. Kevin's body was hung upside down with a slit throat, according to police. Investigators also say that the man's testicles were removed and eaten.
This is a thing. How many stories have we read about castrations?
Yeah. At least a small handful that I can think of. I didn't even mean to do that.
I know you didn't. I could tell just by the way you delivered it. Yeah. It feels like we've read, it happened here in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Some guy come down to meet two other guys, and they end up cutting his balls off or something like that.
Yeah.
Is it for fun, or are they, trying to prove a point? I don't get, because me personally, I would never chop my balls off for fun.
No.
Is it a Moose a Muffin thing? Like you go for a little BDSM, just like tightening, and then there's some menacing people out there, and like, I'm just going to slice them off.
Right. Let's see how far we can take this train. Okay.
That doesn't. I cannot piece together these stories. This is one of the stories we do that I'm like, I don't get it.
Right.
I don't get why it happens. I don't get the people that are up for it.
Yeah.
Not that this was a willing participant. We don't know that part.
Right. The only thing that I can think of is obviously there's some kind of mental issue where the person whose balls are chopped off maybe has like a sex addiction or something to that effect, and they think that that's the only way they can get over it. The only way that they can cure themselves is to cut off that part of the body. Yeah. So therefore, they won't have that sexual desire anymore. Whether it's raping babies or
like
just,
dogs.
Yeah, that too.
The idea that that's what you do to dogs, so they don't they don't want to hump.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is more of a Jeffrey Dahmer situation where the guy, they met on a dating app. The guy came over to the guy's house, and he ended up tying this guy up.
Yeah, I'm not buying that, because then there would be more. This isn't. You know what I'm saying? You don't go. I understand there's a first time for everything,
right.
But you're not going to be like, well, I think next time I'm willing to take a step further, get the skillet out. Right?
I wonder
That's
if
also
these taste like.
it's also an important feature. Did he cook them, or did he eat them raw?
Right.
Because eating a heart of a deer is not an uncommon thing. Sometimes straight out of it, sometimes cooked.
Right. Even your Rocky Mountain oysters, bull balls, bull butter. People eat those, but they don't eat them raw.
They don't eat them raw, right?
As far as I know, they don't. If you do, that makes you a little weird, and I don't think we should be friends anymore.
The idea that these two crazy people found each other, if that's the case, God, the universe is insane.
Imagine the life they could have had if he would not have died.
I think they had the life they imagined.
He just ended up dead and ballless.
I think we don't know the motive of the other person from the story.
Yeah.
But that sounds like that was the motive of this guy. He literally was like, whatever you want to do, Judge.
Right.
Apparently, and I dug into this guy a little bit. He had a master's degree. Like, he was pretty, he was...
The Unabomber had a master's. He was, come on.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Did you get that online nowadays?
Sentencing for him will be held on December 15th.
I saw a thing yesterday online. I don't know if it's true, but you know how they caught the Unabomber? They caught the Unabomber. He was such an elitist. Like, he thought he was so much better than everybody else. He couldn't stand the phrase, have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
And because he's like, that makes no sense. He was like, you can't have your cake and then enjoy it, like some other phrase.
Yeah.
And so he wrote this manifesto that got printed in the paper. And his sister-in-law, who always thought he was a little off his rocker, was like, I think this is your brother. Went to her husband, and he looked at him and was like, I don't think so, and then read the line that his brother was one of the only people who ever said, you can't have your cake and then enjoy it as well.
Right.
Oh.
And that's how they got him.
Wow.
Ooh, damn it. Ted Kaczynski. Man busted for beating.
Also, he was one of the people that did the acid experiment where they gave everybody a bunch of acid to see how they would react.
Okay.
And he went crazy, and he never forgave them.
Well, that would make sense, but no reason to go and send bombs through the mailbox.
Yeah,
Just saying.
universities and bombs and airplanes.
Right.
The Unabomber. A doll feels a little too childlike.
Right.
Any kind.
Yeah.
Right.
Any kind.
The obvious, the sex dolls would
The
be.
word doll
Right.
is what negates it for me.
Well,
Right.
So toys, they have sex toys. Toys are for children.
No, they also have toys for adults.
Like?
Drills.
Right.
Okay.
Big boy toys.
Big boy toys.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And for the big
Beach
girls,
toys.
Yeah. Okay.
Lake toys.
Okay.
Toys is synonymous across the board. Dolls, 94% associated with children, specifically
Yes.
girls.
Okay.
So it's a little bizarre.
A little weird. To each is their own.
To-
I'm not going to spend $2,700 on one of those real live looking sex dolls. That's just for
I'll
me.
take the bait. How much would you spend?
Yeah.
What is your top out
My top out,
on sex dolls?
If I was to purchase a sex doll, now, obviously, you could go and get one of those $50 jobbies that they always look surprised or whatever. But I would like to have, if I was going to get one, it would be one of those real dolls, right? But I'm not, maybe $1,000, maybe $1,000, and that's a lot. That's a lot,
right.
man.
Let me, I can speak Gimpy. he is not saying he would spend $1,000 on it.
Right.
Okay.
He's saying gun to the head.
Right.
Okay.
Right?
Right. Absolutely.
I think if he were going to buy one, that would not be the price point he'd shop at. He's saying if he had like the most,
Right.
it would have to be a utopian world. Probably would have had won a $1 billion lottery. Like,
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, if I'm winning a lottery, then yeah, I'm going to get the high end one, man. Spend, $3,500, get everything that feels real, maybe one that's like got AI and can
If you
talk
won
back
the-
to you a little bit.
If you won the lottery, you wouldn't need to buy a sex doll. You'd have women lined up if you won the lottery.
not if you you don't trust people and you don't want them around. You think all they want is money.
Boom. That real life sex doll ain't taking me to the cleaners. I'll be taking her to the cleaners, but she ain't taking me. Nay.
Do you take a job as a rich person sex toy cleaner?
No.
How much are we getting paid? That's the real
Minimum wage.
question.
Minimum wage.
I'm not getting paid $7.50 to go
Everybody needs a job.
to go scrub out some rich person's sex doll.
Okay, but you get to, however, you then get to be in their house when they're not there, like as a house
I
caretaker.
get to use all their
Yeah,
luxuries, so
yeah.
that means I get to drive the cars.
Probably not the cars, but you get to use their house.
Nah, I'm out then. If all I get is one room.
No,
and I
like
get
they're
to
not
use the-
there, so you can have the kitchen, you get to do the pool, like whatever. When they're not
Absolutely.
there, you're the caretaker.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be able to sleep in their luxurious bed with their 1,000 thread count Egyptian cotton
Sure,
sheets. You
they're
see what I'm
not.
saying?
Yeah, but they're not putting a futon
Right.
in your room.
Even then, if I don't have access to all the amenities that you have, we're talking, cars, boats, jet skis, private, planes, whatever, then I don't want any part. I would, if I had access to all that, sure, I'd do it for minimum wage. Why not?
Yeah, young me, access to all that stuff. Sure.
Yeah.
Every job's got hard days. I've told the story. I was a dog walker in San Francisco. The only difference between that job and any other job is I put the crap in my hand. That's the only difference.
Exactly.
Every job has bad things you got to deal with.
Absolutely.
And that one just happens to be the job.
Right. So, it is what it is. But look, I get to throw house parties, when they're gone, invite my friends over.
You're jeopardizing your job at that point.
Absolutely. But, hey, ride the wave while you can, right?
I saw that there's a sex toy, because I have remote control sex toys, but it's always been like a handheld thing.
Right.
Now they have, it's like an app on your phone connected via Bluetooth, and you can do all these like finger like drawing things on it, then transfers to the sexual device with the woman. And I'm like, that. Good morning. It's the Big Man Morning Show. Coming up, Jeff Hensley's going to join us. You got a question about divorce, custody, guardianship, name change, any of those things. We'd love for you to send your question to us ahead of time. The email address is show@kmod.com, or you can text it, BMMS and whatever that is, to 82945, or you can call when he's in the studio at 918-460-KMOD. They announced the first game of the season as the NFL is going to open. They're going to announce the games this week. And opening game on Thursday Night Football will be the Chiefs and the Ravens on September 5th.
Okay.
Which is a rematch of the AFC Championship game that the Chiefs won before we went on to win the Super Bowl. So that'll be pretty awesome to see that.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson go at it again. Totally be awesome.
I try watching UFL. It's just not the same.
It isn't the same, right? And the football's fine. The speed feels different.
Yeah.
The play design feels different.
Yep. They've got helmets, pads, and footballs, but that's about it.
Yeah. They play on turf.
Yep.
The Giants will be without one of their top players for the foreseeable future. San Francisco is placing outfielder Michael Conforto on the 10-day injured list due to a strained right hamstring that he suffered in Saturday's win over the Cincinnati Reds. Conforto leads the team with 7 home runs and a .490 slugging percentage through 38 games this season. The 31-year-old is hitting a .280 with 20 RBIs in his second season with the team. In a corresponding move, the Giants recalled outfielder Luis Matos from AAA Sacramento. In Sunday's series finale, the Giants sustained another blow after outfielder Jung-Hoo Lee suffered a separated left shoulder. Brad Keselowski snapped a long winless streak following a victory in the Goodyear 400 at Darlington Raceway. The driver of the number 6 car snapped a 110 race drought after leading 37 laps to take home the checkered flag. Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Briscoe rounded out the top 5 finishers. The NASCAR Cup Series fields heads to North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race next Sunday. And the Panthers are on the verge of punching their ticket to the Eastern Conference Final. Florida is up 3-1 in their best-of-7 second-round series after fighting back from a 2-goal deficit and downing the Bruins 3-2 in Boston. Game 5 takes place in Sunrise on Tuesday. Out west, the Canucks are up 2-1 in their second-round series following a 4-3 win over the Oilers in Game 3 from Edmonton. The puck drops for Game 4 at Rogers Place on Tuesday. 2 games are on the slate for today. The top seed in the East, Rangers, will try to eliminate the Hurricanes at MSG, while the Stars look for a 3-1 series lead over the Avalanche in Denver. And that's your Balls to the Wall Sports. I'm Lindsay on 97.5 KMOD.
Balls to the Wall Sports is powered by the award-winning service of Groundwork. Shape has the look of a like a dragon's claw. Hey, listen, lid for every pot, whatever you got. What? When we were in school, we had a thing. There were like these rubber balls with handles, and you would jump on them, right? And you would have races with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is that, except it is for the ladies.
That's so weird.
It's a Swiss ball dildo. This is Gimpy has shown me the one he has before, which I ran, and this is the accommodator.
The accommodator.
If you're familiar with that chin strap.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. And then probably the mildest one on this list would be the Clone a Willy dildo kit.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those before.
Pretty mild.
Yeah. Thought about using it, you know.
I don't know how it would work.
What do you mean?
So have you ever seen like in Hobby Lobby they have those plaster Paris where you make the plaster Paris of like you holding your baby's
absolutely.
hand or like you put your kid's foot in it?
Yeah, I did that in art class with my little hand. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. That would be this, except it comes in a tube, and the idea is you do what you have to do, and then you do the mold, and then it sets, and then you. I don't hair.
Yeah.
2, any sort of deviation from what's happening in a sexual moment for me, it's over.
Right. Mm-hmm. So your dildo would come out all weird and deformed, pretty much, basically.
Or smaller than the representation.
Well, what am I going to do with this thing, huh?
And do you tell people it didn't work? Like, I couldn't do it?
That's why you read the reviews first, right?
And I don't know anybody that's done it, so I can't. I know they sell them.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure someone's going to be like, oh, yeah, it was great.
I'll get one over the weekend, put one together, bring it in for you Monday.
You don't have to bring it in. You could just give me the verbal review.
Drunk Florida man kicked out of bar, returns and attacks bar owner with belt. This happened last weekend in West Palm Beach. A 37-year-old man kicked out of the bar for being too intoxicated, but quickly returned wielding a firearm, according to an affidavit. Fabio Lano Sanchez, arrested by Palm Beach Sheriff's Office. According to records, he was released on last Wednesday with a $60,000 bond amount. He arrived to the area on July 23rd around 2 a.m. The owner of the bar said that he shows up, he was a little drunk, then he got too drunk, and he started harassing customers. So they asked the man to leave. He left to his car but came back with a firearm. He pointed it directly at the bar owner and said, "I will shoot you." And then he threatened to shoot the bar's security. Well, then Sanchez decided, I'm going to just take off my belt, and started swinging it at the bar owner. He hit him multiple times. A security guard began fighting with the suspect, and the bar owner began fearing for his life. He told deputies that's when he called 911, and they showed up, arrested him, said he was going to kill everybody. The owner had an injury on his finger from the belt. The guy himself did not have any injuries. The suspect had some scrapes and bruises on his face in his mugshot, though.
That's a very underrated weapon.
Absolutely,
a belt is, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could do some damage with a belt. Trust me, I know. But to use it in like a street fight is not something you see every day. You hear about guns, knives, crowbars, baseball bats. I appreciate this guy for whipping out his belt.
Yeah, if you're good, like that whole towel whip, that
Yeah.
people, if you can do that with a belt.
You could whip the S out of
Yeah,
somebody. And you don't even have
especially
to
if it's
towel
leather.
whip them with it. You could whip them like a slave. Whap! Right across the face. That's going to hurt.
Get the buckle.
Oh, yeah. Well, the buckle's good for handle.
Oh, that's true.
I guess I think of the scene from Indiana Jones
Okay.
when Jones is in the street and the guy is the sword and he goes,
He's all over here.
and he just pulls out his gun and shoots him.
Right.
So
Well, everybody knows you don't bring a belt to a gunfight. However,
apparently you do.
the owner didn't have a gun.
One of them had a gun, right?
Yeah,
he
the
did.
bad
He
guy had a gun, but he
Yeah.
decided not to use the gun. I'm going to go a little bit lighter. I'm going to take my belt off and whoop him like a step kid.
I've got the longest running game shows in television history.
Fun.
You want to guess one?
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy's on here.
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's
The
what brought
Price
us.
is Right.
Price is Right, of course.
Okay, so those are the three basics. What about Press Your Luck?
No.
Yeah.
So, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Really?
22 years. Password, 23 years.
The Pyramid.
What's My Line? 24 years. Pyramid, 25 years. Let's Make a Deal, 35 years.
Wow.
Now, does that count? Because it wasn't 35 years consecutive. It was
Right.
It was the Monty guy for a while, and then they brought it back with Wayne Brady. So I guess mash them together, it works.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be consecutive, like Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, and Jeopardy. Those are all consecutive years.
Yeah, I think if you work at KMOD and then take a break and come back, you get X number of years,
Okay.
right?
Alrighty then.
Ooh.
Family Feud, 40 years.
Okay.
I was gonna-
Wheel of Fortune, 48 years. Jeopardy, 54 years. This show I've never heard of because it's in another country. Des Charifs et de Lettres.
Sure, easy for
Numbers and Letters, 56 years. It's still on today. Price is Right, 60 years.
So that's the longest. Price is Right.
Price is Right, yeah,
Wow.
is the longest one. Or is it going to be a thing that comes out like it did with Bob Barker that he had to kind of step away because
He owed.
he like a miscusi.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. Well, it was a different time then.
Right. It changes. Empathy towards humans.
All right.
60 years is a long time, though, for a game show.
Yeah, for sure. It just makes me wonder how long those are going to be on. Are they going to keep doing it? They're going to revamp it, make it different so they can keep that name going? Because really, that's all that people are going because of the name. People are watching because of the name, because they watched it growing up, Everybody knows that when you're sick and you're staying home from school, you're watching The Price is Right.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think shows like Price is Right is a different game show, obviously, than like Jeopardy or Wheel, because they have to technologically evolve.
Okay.
They have to evolve the show and the games.
Right.
You can have some classics, but you've got to introduce new games on Price is Right, because technology changes and people's understanding of things changes.
That makes sense.
Wheel of Fortune, it's spin a wheel, earn points. Now,
the
how
same
they
game.
derive the letters and things like that, or on Jeopardy, can obviously change. But overall, it's the same game.
Yeah. There's no need to change it.
Tic-tac-toe, celebrity whatever, doesn't last because you get annoyed. You get annoyed with just because you're famous doesn't mean you're awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And some of these other shows, that's why I like Pyramid and like it runs its exhaustion level. That's why they don't do just Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. You want to see people that are like, quote unquote, you win.
Right. It gives you hope
Absolutely.
and a chance that you could be on that show someday and you could win that money.
The number of people that are like to know someone to be on Wheel of Fortune is rare. Think about all the times they come through and recruit people, and then how many people from here actually get on the show? Not very many, if you think about it. So where do those people come from? Well, they recruit people. Some are up and coming actors. Like they tried because they have to fill it. Lindsay's tried to be on game shows before. One of the hardest parts about being on a game show is that you have to fly out on your own, put yourself up, and you might get on the show.
Right. They don't pay for you to be out there until you finally make the final cut.
And when you're on the show, you might just get the minimum, which is like $1,000 now or something like that, which you're like, that's a lot. It is a lot. Not after hotel and airfare and expenses.
In California.
In anywhere.
Yeah.
You go to any hotel, you're not gonna, even if you're gonna stay at the Comfort Inn.
Right.
And if you are, it's still $200. You're there a week. That's $1,000. It doesn't matter where it's at. You ain't staying at the Sunnyside Inn with the satellite dish painted yellow.
Right. With all the crackheads and whores.
Well, I mean, you can get that anywhere, any hotel, right? I saw this story circulating today about TikTok doctors warning the number one position for penile fractures. Number one, 50. I want to make sure I get that. I would hate to fumble this. It's the most dangerous sex position, according to science. It's the cause of 50% of penile fractures. 50.
That's a lot.
So of all the penile fractures that happen, half are because of this sex position. What do you think, Lindsay?
Doggy style.
Okay, Gimby?
I am going to say it is the reversed cowgirl,
It is the reverse cowgirl.
which is my favorite by far.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, all of them are good.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even plain old vanilla is good.
Yeah. Yeah. The line of great is pretty thin from a guy's standpoint.
Right. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because they're not looking and paying attention. But are you really looking and paying attention even if you're facing forward? You know what I mean?
There's obviously no bones inside a penis. Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show, 918-460-KMOD. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Corbin. Happy 25th birthday to Vienna Rose. You can hear this Manford, Oklahoman moan in Get a Room, Groom Bangs the Bridesmaid, and Hump Bunnies 1 and 2. She's a 2-time Empress of Nipple Paradise Award nominee. Apparently, she left the industry at age 20 to become a Marine.
Good morning, Gimpy.
Well, good morning. You just got your first keyword to rock the bank and earn yourself $1,000 cash. You've missed that one. Don't worry. You've got other chances throughout the day, all the way up until 5 o'clock tonight.
All right, joining us on the line now is Jeff Hensley from Hensley & Associates. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning, Corbin.
Jeff is here to answer your questions about divorce, custody, guardianship, name change, any of those things. And we've already got some text and emails that came in. This first one says, question for Jeff. If I get married outside the U.S., like in the Caribbean or in Europe, do I need to get a marriage license when I get back?
No, I mean, typically those areas will also issue some sort of marriage license themselves. I mean, it doesn't matter where you get married. Interestingly enough, and it's interesting that we do it this way, and I'm surprised that there aren't more questions about it. But, we don't ever check to see if there's a marriage license that existed before we do a divorce. I mean, when someone comes to any of us and says, hey, we want to get a divorce, and we got married on such and such a date, we take them at their word. Surprisingly, we don't go doing license searches for whatever reason. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, I've divorced people that were married in, South America, Central America, Europe, India. It doesn't matter where you get married at all. So, you can get divorced anywhere as well. So it doesn't really matter, I guess is what it means.
Is that because of common law marriage existing?
Maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, having only practiced in Oklahoma where we have common law marriage, that may be a very good question. I don't know if there's other states that require, proof of a marriage certificate or a marriage license of any sort. But that's a good question, Lindsay. I just don't know the answer to it. I just know that in Oklahoma, we don't go doing license searches before we divorce people.
Well, it seems like there's so many things that you have to apply for, and they ask for a proof of your marriage license or certificate.
Right, Yeah, I agree. It's very strange. I don't know. It's a good question.
When you go to, it's like, hey, we're going to get married in the Dominican Republic, can you just get a marriage license here and use the one from here? Or do you have to get one from the place of where you get the marriage done?
You have to get the place where you get the marriage done. For example, okay, my wife and I, before we got married, we lived in Oklahoma. We decided to get married in Utah. We got married in Utah, obviously still residents of Oklahoma. We had to get a license there in Utah. So it's the same thing when you travel across international waters or lines, is you're supposed to get a license where you get married. Oklahoma licensure is only good for getting married within the state of Oklahoma, not anywhere else in the U.S. or internationally.
This email came in this morning. It says, hey, Jeff, currently getting divorced. My wife is asking for alimony, but she's been working for almost a year now. Is she still able to get alimony along with child support?
Well, in Oklahoma, we do alimony weird compared to some other states. I mean, what we do is it's based upon need and ability to pay. Going on just the small amount of facts that are given in that little scenario there, she's going to have to show that she has a need. If she's working, it depends on what, kind of income she's making and all that. And then, of course, she has to show that he has the ability to pay. And one of the things to understand about alimony, too, is that, judges have to look at it from a global perspective. In other words, if you've got a big divorce settlement or a big portion of the divorce split between the two of you as far as assets and 401ks and land and real property, vehicles, all that kind of stuff. I mean, the judge has to look at it from a global perspective. So what I mean by is, let's say you're going to get $1 million out of a $2 million divorce. Okay. He gets $1 million, she gets $1 million. The judge has to look at that. And I don't see judges, and I haven't seen a judge grant alimony on top of a huge settlement like that. Now, obviously not everybody has that kind of stuff in a divorce. I just use that merely as a simple example. But again, it's based upon need and ability to pay. Typically one of the things that we see is that when parties separate for an amount of time before the divorce is filed, the need portion kind of goes out the window, unless, of course, the husband or whoever is paying for a bunch of things. But, if they're separated and working, sometimes that need argument goes out the window. But in this particular scenario as given, I would say that, I would need a few more facts, but, if she's been working for a year, what was she making? What's the rest of the divorce going to look like as far as assets and debts and things like that? So, need and ability to pay are the two main things.
So what you're saying is that, and not as a rule, but it can be considered like, if she, in this example, gets the home, she may not also get alimony because she's getting the home.
Well, I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, it all depends on how much equity is in the home. How much equity does she get to keep? How much of the 401k does she get to keep? I mean, is she walking away with $3 million? Is she walking away with $3,000? I mean, it all depends. Again, it's she or whoever, because men can get alimony too. The person asking for it has to show that they have a need. And then they have to show that the person they're asking for it from has the ability to pay. So those are our two legal requirements in Oklahoma.
Could one party just not apply for jobs or not even go get a job and say they can't find a job?
I've seen judges kind of, what they do on those kind of things is they're going to have to prove that they can't find a job. I mean, it's not just, well, I've tried to find a job and I can't find one. Well, that's not true. I mean, the market bears that there are jobs out there. And one of the problems I think that a lot of people run into, and this happens a lot with child support enforcement and judges there, is that, at the end of the day, kids cost, and you need money to feed them and to clothe them and all those sorts of things. And the attitude that judges take is, you know, if you have to pay child support, or have to pay alimony, or whatever it may be, or, you know, whatever the scenario may be, you know, you're going to find a job no matter what, even if you think it's beneath you. Because I've heard judges ask, well, have you applied at Walmart? Have you applied at fast food? Have you done this? Have you done that? And a lot of people say, well, no, because, you know, that's not in my field. I didn't train for that. I'm looking for jobs in my field, blah, blah, blah. But the attitude of the judge is that if you've got a kid, you've got to make sure that kid's taken care of, which means you're going to take a job no matter what it is until you can find something in your field. And even if that's in, you know, the fast food industry, or in, you know, retail, or whatever it may be, you're going to take that job to make sure your child is taken care of. That's the attitude of the judges. So the answer of, well, I'm only applying in my field because that's all I'm trained for, and I want to stay in my field. Well, that's fine and dandy, but it's not going to fly in front of a judge.
This one is a little disturbing. It says, I have a disabled daughter who I have guardianship of. Her husband assaulted her, and she's unable to make any decisions for herself. I do not want anything to happen to her and have him obtain any of her Social Security in the future. How do I, as a guardian, get her divorced?
Wow, that's a tough one.
Does that happen? People who have guardianships, can the person that they have guardianship over get married? And if they do, does that negate the guardianship?
I would say yes. It would technically negate the guardianship, because when you enter into a marriage, remember, it's considered I hate to say the word contract, but I mean, it's a binding thing, and the guardian doesn't have the ability to say whether someone can or can't get married. Now, having said that, you know, you have to look at the reason the guardianship was put in place to begin with. I mean, was the individual incapacitated? Is the person, you know, someone who can't make decisions for themselves? I mean, you've got to show a reason, and that would be a really strange scenario. I've never heard of anything like that occurring, or even read about anything like that as far as case law or anything of that nature. But to answer the listener's question, you know, I have seen scenarios where guardians are able to help an individual that they are caretaker of get divorced in particular situation. It's a rarity. Obviously, it's not the norm. It's not the status quo by any means. But it is possible to get it done. So whoever this is, please call my office and ask to talk to me. I'd love to find out some more and get some more specific information of what's going on and all that stuff. But, you know, did the husband fight against the mom for the guardianship? I mean, there's a lot of missing holes here, but it's definitely a very intriguing question for sure.
Can I give a variation of that just as a thought? If I am in a situation where my child is married, but they get into a confrontation where his assault put her in the hospital and incapacitated, how quickly could I get guardianship to stop him from having any authority over her or their finances or her finances?
Well, I mean, one of the things you would do would be an emergency guardianship. You get into a sticky situation, though, and that's why I want to talk more about the individual that got the guardianship, is because you get into a sticky situation where you're talking about finances for sure, because, you know, they're still married, incapacitated or not, they're still married. And of course, the finances are still joint finances. And so it's very intriguing. It's like definitely like a law school question for sure. And I would love to talk to the listener more about the specifics.
But I think what I'm asking is, how do family members have any control or power of their loved one when something bad happens?
Well, and that's what I guess that's what I'm trying to convey is that you've got a situation where you've got somebody that stepped in and did a guardianship. Well, why was there a guardianship? Why did the husband seek guardianship? Because the person was incapacitated. Did they not? Did they fight about it? Did they show up and contest the guardianship? I mean, that's kind of a linchpin in the case, Corbin, is you're dealing with an issue of what did the husband do, A, to put her in that situation? And B, why didn't the husband try to get guardianship over the wife while she's incapacitated? Was there, some advance directive? Was there some sort of power of attorney? I mean, it's hard to answer the question directly because there's too many facts missing. It is a concern, obviously, when you've got a loved one who has been incapacitated by an individual who they are married to, that has caused them to be damaged in some way and unable to make decisions. But again, you've got, what's going on with the spouse? Did they try and fight the guardianship? Were they arrested? Are they criminally charged? I mean, what's going on there? That's kind of the linchpin of the whole thing.
This text says, I just noticed I put some inaccurate information on my divorce papers, but my husband's already been served. Can I correct it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you filed a petition or a motion of some sort, you can always file an amended motion or amended petition if there's some information that was inadvertently left out or put on there incorrectly or whatever it may be. That's a very easy fix. And sometimes things, if it's innocuous, it's not worth spending your time amending. But if it's, birth dates and names and things like that, those are obviously worth correcting. So, but yes, you can always amend the document for sure.
It says, we are divorcing, but are still living in the same home with our 2 young children. My husband has made several attempts and has possibly been successful to either videotape me or record me when I'm taking care of my children. Can he legally use this in court? Is there anything I can do to stop him from doing this?
Yes, you can use it in court. Is there anything to do to stop? Not really. I mean, we use videos and audio recordings all the time in court. The question becomes is what specifically is he recording and why? I mean, are you doing something that's strange or, putting the children in danger? I mean, what's the reason he's recording other than to be annoying? But yeah, they can be used in court. In the state of Oklahoma, when you're talking about consent for recording, we're a one-party state, which means you only need the consent of one party to do a recording, and that's typically the person doing the recording. So with that being said, there's not a whole lot you can do to curb that. You can always ask the judge to have him stop. I've seen judges who have admonished or told people that they should no longer do that, and the court expects them not to do that kind of thing anymore. If it comes to the level of harassment, I mean, like extreme harassment, you can always get a protective order for harassment on that particular issue. But, it'd have to be pretty extreme for the judge to grant that as a protective order.
Is videotaping considered harassment?
Again, it depends. I think it really is based upon how often are you doing it, the reasons you're doing it. It really can be considered harassment to a certain degree, depending upon how it's being done. It really is. But that's always left up to a case-by-case basis.
This one says, what happens after you serve your husband with divorce papers? He's already told me he's not going to sign them. I'd like to know what his next steps would be.
Well, once you've served him, all right, that individual now has 20 days to respond. And I mean, enter an appearance and say, whether they're hiring an attorney or not, they still have to file some sort of answer or response to the petition that has been filed. If the individual fails to do so, all right, and because they're saying, well, I'm not going to sign it, I'm not going to be a part of this, I'm not going to let the divorce happen. Well, it's not how we work in Oklahoma. We've talked about this before, Corbin, talking about the movie Sweet Home Alabama, where she is tracking him down, trying to get his signatures because it's required in that state for both parties to sign. Well, it's not the case in Oklahoma. If the individual doesn't respond within 20 days, you can always file a motion for default saying, look, we gave proper notice, they didn't enter the case, they didn't want to be a part of this, we are going to ask for a default and try and get this thing over with. And so a default can be granted and a divorce entered even if the individual doesn't want to be involved in it. So if you got this idea, well, I'm not going to sign, well, too bad. In the state of Oklahoma, we'll just go around your little roadblock and get it taken care of.
Kyle's on the line. Kyle, what's your question for Jeff Hensley of Hensley & Associates?
So me and my ex separated about a year ago, and I tried to do agreed child support with her, like, out of court, and basically she denied it and denied it and denied it, and then kind of went back and forth, and then she said she wanted to do what was fair, so we went on the child support calculator, and then I offered her more than actually the calculator. And then so then she went back and forth again, and then I was like, well, you said you wanted to do this official through court. She'd already served me a petition and papers and all that stuff. And then she had said she wasn't going to go for back child support, and then decided that she was when she got kind of upset about some things. So I was just curious, is she going to be guaranteed the child support arrears, or is that going to be like kind of up to the judge, or...
Well, under Oklahoma law, she's entitled to 2 years of back support. So, even though she went back and forth, unless you've got an order signed by a judge that says the arrears are waived in some way, she is entitled to that back support. So, she has the right to waive it. She has the right to waive anything that's not state related. In other words, she can, if there's sooner care involved for the insurance, she cannot waive that, but she can waive back support. She can waive back interest, but that's solely up to her. Otherwise, she's entitled to it by law.
Right on. So there's pretty much no point in going to court. I might as well just sit there and agree with whatever the calculator comes up to for the time and call it good.
Kyle, come on, Jeff, tell him why that's a bad idea.
I mean, that's
idea?
It's a defeatist attitude in the sense that, yes, numbers are numbers, but when it comes to back support, you want to make sure that, especially if you've been paying something, you get credit for all of that. Number one. Number two, you want to make sure that sometimes there's negotiating and bargaining to be done to lower that back support. So you don't want to just roll over and die on it. I mean, that's not something that you want to do in any way, shape, or form. Is this all being done through the administrative court for DHS or through the district court?
I think it's through district court. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
We actually went to a court date, but they ended up settling for what I had offered in the beginning months ago. So, I mean, there was really no point in going. She could have just said, okay, this is the number, this is fair, cool, and we could have signed the papers and been done with it. So,
right. Well, if you give your name or number to Gimpy, I will give you a call later this week, and we'll go through it with a little finer tooth comb and make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of or leaving anything on the table.
I'm actually meeting with them tomorrow, so I just thought I'd give you guys a call and see what you might think about it. So I'm going to go negotiate with her lawyer.
There's always room for negotiating on that, and you want to make sure, again, that you are getting credit for the stuff that you did pay. So, be aware of that.
Yeah, like sports activities, this, that, birthday stuff, this and that. Yeah, I got you.
All right, Kyle.
Well, okay, so wait a minute. You birthday stuff and sports activities are not considered child support. Okay, so if you're going to pay, if you pay child support, and this is true for any listener, you want to make sure that it's paid through some way and marked as child support. I mean, buying birthday stuff is not child support. Paying for extracurricular activities is not child support. Those are
even
considered gifts.
Oh, it's considered a gift. Okay, cool. No, that's fine.
So just be aware of that.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Good luck with everything. Good luck. I mean, Jeff, what he's talking about is a good example of how people go, well, I'll just do it myself, or I'll do the calculator myself. There are some intricate details that you may not be aware of, that you think you're paying child support by buying a inflatable for a birthday party, where the court may not see it as that. And that's why you need to have representation through Hensley & Associates to help you, right? So give them a call, 918-398-5692. Mention KMOD, get a free consultation over the phone. I can't stress enough how important it is to help you navigate, even on something like that, where you've got the payment worked out and then things go south pretty fast, and you need somebody on your side that can stand the line with you. Hensley & Associates, 918-398-5692. Mention KMOD. Get a free consultation over the phone. And not just family law, you guys have practice in other areas of the law.
That's right. Through our office in Pasco, through Shoemake Law Firm, which, Yes, it's a different name, but it is us. It's just that we purchased the practice a couple of years ago. You know, we would love to help you if you've got any issues. Doesn't matter what county you're in. You know, if you've got issues with a criminal case in some way, no matter how minute it may be, give them a call. If you've been hurt by somebody in the medical industry or medical field, give them a call. If you've got a car wreck, if you're dealing with somebody who's passed away and you're dealing with their estate and probate, if you have a contract issue, if you've got, you know, anything in addition to family law, give us a call up there or give us a call in Tulsa. We'll hook you up with them. We'd love to help you out and make sure that you're taken care of.
918-398-5692 for Hensley & Associates. Jeff, have a fantastic week.
Hey, you too. Thanks, guys.
Take a break and we'll be back.
The Big Mad Morning Show returns next.
Life expectancy will be 100 years.
What? People are dying earlier and earlier, man.
No.
Cut that in half.
No. Life expectancy will be 300 years.
Oh,
my
Jesus.
gosh.
People will wear kidney cozies.
A kidney
What
cozy.
the hell?
Yes, kidney cozies will be worn to protect the kidneys on chilly days, just the same as a teapot in the north is kept warm by a tea cozy.
Okay. Do your kidneys get colder than the rest of your body?
No, but again, when they were doing medicine, one, there weren't doctors like what we know doctors to be now. People would just be like, I'm a doctor.
Right.
Right? And they used to drill holes in women's heads to
Right.
let out demons. And they thought washing your hands meant you weren't a good doctor.
Right.
The idea was that the bloodstained hands would prove you knew how to do the work.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So men will curl their hair. Yeah, that's been happening for a while.
Yeah.
The old man perm.
The U.S. will have a population of 300 million.
Oh, wow.
Well, I think we surpassed that one.
Yeah. Now I have 8 billion.
Fornicating is fun.
It's in 2021 it was 331 million. So it's not a giant. It's not so far off. Canada will have a population of 100 million.
Okay. I don't know what the population of Canada is, but I'm sure it's more than that. More than
38.2 million.
Yeah.
Utensils will be made of pulp.
Pulp. Okay.
Utensils and dwellings will be manufactured largely of pulp and cements so as to utilize vegetation and stone in every stage of decay, ordinary waste, or unfitness. I mean, it's not wrong, right? Like MDF is a real product.
Uh-huh.
That's pulp, essentially, right?
Yeah. I just don't know if I want to live in a house that's made of pulp and cements.
Flights from Chicago to Hamburg will only take 18 hours.
I've never flown from Chicago to Hamburg, so I do not know.
I think it's like 8 or 10, maybe.
Okay.
Newspapers will have been out of business for 50 years.
Wow. I mean,
They didn't get
they're half right.
Yeah.
Private kitchens will disappear.
Private kitchens.
Yeah, they're citing articles, by the way. I'm reading from an article.
Okay.
The private kitchen will disappear. Tomorrow's food will be seasoned and prepared by chemical formulas.
Hello, Fresh.
Which will preserve the freshness of fruits and meats, rid them of indigestible qualities, and send them to the table ready to use. Instead of sauces that merely cozen the palate, we shall have delectable blends of concentrated vitamins, calories, ferments, and tissue tonics.
Ew.
I mean, we have all that now, right?
Yeah, we do.
Look at like Frank's.
Yeah.
That is a tissue tonic,
Okay.
if you will. The tissue of your tongue.
Got it. Okay.
Cancer will be eradicated.
I wish.
Cancer, tuberculosis, infantile paralysis, locomotor ataxia, and leprosy will be eradicated.
I don't think any of those are eradicated at all whatsoever.
I mean, we pretty much handled tuberculosis pretty well.
Yeah, I'm sure we got a good
And
handle on
leprosy.
leprosy.
I think leprosy's,
Yeah.
You know, but there's still places in the world. When you say eradicated, I'm thinking it's like gone completely from the world, nowhere around it all whatsoever. Now, I'm sure there's third world countries where TB's still a thing, where leprosy's still a thing.
War will be wireless, and we might have telepathy or telepathy.
I like telepathic idea, but I mean, wireless, think about it.
War is
Cyber
wireless.
It is
yeah.
wireless, yeah.
People will communicate using watch-size radio telephones.
Wow.
Watched size radio
I can answer the phone on my watch.
Yes,
I can
you
answer the
can.
phone on mine.
How fun are those, huh?
Yeah.
So they weren't too far off. Now, here's the problem with a thread like this.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the ones that were way off?
Right, of course.
Right?
Of course. But they don't want those. Those aren't as interesting.
And they're only showing by 2023. I can't cite what year that came out of.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just whatever the thread. Again, anything on the internet, man, you might as well just go with not true.
Right.
You're like, it might be true. Probably not. Might be. Right? I was in a little Twitter conversation with somebody about the Twitter files. And yeah, there's definitely some corruption being illustrated in those files. But one, Elon Musk picked which articles to release. Two, picked the reporters to have go through them and release them. And he's hardly the most honest individual. And corruption, being in corporate America, is hardly a gotcha moment.
Right. It's kind of been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Rugby player loses his favorite testicle in freak accident. Jack Johnson is the guy's name.
Making banana pancakes.
Not to be confused with the singer. He's a rugby star with the Newcastle Thunder over in England, and he was violently, he violently lost something extremely close to him in what he calls a freak accident during training. His favorite testicle, which is the left one, reportedly exploded after taking a direct shot from a knee. It had to be removed.
This isn't the first time this has happened in rugby.
No, that's
it happens a
violent
lot.
sport, man.
It happens, and I guess they don't wear cups, or only pussies do. I guess I don't know. So I do jiu-jitsu, right? And I wear a cup, and I can tell it annoys some of the guys.
Why? Because when they kick you, it goes donk.
Yeah, or like when you're changing positions, that like there's a move where you put your knee into their stomach or on their sternum.
Yeah.
And that sometimes your foot will then hit their balls.
Yeah.
And I just don't want people's appendages on my balls.
Sure.
Sorry.
Makes sense.
But if I'm
Is
in
it
rugby,
ticklish or what?
but I gotta say, if there is a if there's a chance, if I did radio broadcasting and there was a chance I could rupture a testicle doing it, I'm wearing a cup to protect my balls.
Absolutely.
And these are ones of pros that this is happening to.
You have no use for yours right now at all whatsoever. I mean, the path has been blocked.
Yeah,
So,
I have
like,
had a vasectomy,
Yeah,
yes.
the use for your boys is null right now.
Yeah.
But I get it.
No,
you kind of grown attached to them over the years.
It's the mental part.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have one less testicle, you're half a man.
That is true.
And you're going to feel that way. It's been documented.
Well, some men feel that if they have a vasectomy, they feel like less of a man.
I've never felt that.
Well,
I got two reminders.
Right. I'm not saying that you do, but there's some guys out there that,
I've never heard anybody say that. Maybe they do, but I've never heard a guy say that.
well, fortunately for Jack Johnson, he kept his sense of humor.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show, 918-460-KMOD. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. I know people are different than me. I know some people like okra and I don't. Everybody's different. I get it.
Yeah.
This, I'm about to tell you about, I don't get.
Okay.
I don't understand why there is something called a castration club.
Excuse me? Surely that's for like farmers, right?
Nope. Nope. This topic has come up before. It even came up locally, but this is back in the news because a man out of the UK is getting 22 years in prison for castrating nearly 60 men. He does not have a medical license.
What do these said men do?
He has garnered nearly $250,000 in just a few years by broadcasting these types of surgeries on his subscriber-only website and posting them on castration groups. He pled guilty to 5 counts of causing grievous bodily harm with intent. He's going to get a minimum of 22 years. Many members of the castration club had their healthy body parts, typically genitals, removed surgically. Others damaged their own testicles to such a degree that doctors had to amputate.
Whoa.
The groups dubbed themselves as NOLOs, as in genital nullification. In court, prosecutors allege this man kept the lopped off body parts for consumption. Later on, he once cooked up some testicles for lunch, laying them out as part of an artfully arranged salad platter, according to court records. He also admitted to freezing a man's leg so severely it had to be medically removed. And he's in a wheelchair due to his own amputation. He told a newspaper in 2022 interview he willingly had his leg, penis, and part of his nipple removed by the group because he wanted to look like a Ken doll down there.
Did you say part of his nipple?
Penis and part of his nipple removed.
Why only part of the nipple? Why not take off the whole nipple?
I don't know if it's like,
that doesn't make any sense.
A gaggle. Like, I don't know how that works. Like,
right.
Would it be, if you just have one, is it still part of the nipple?
Right. I guess maybe if you just took I don't know. That just seems so bizarre. I've heard about people with those mental disabilities that I cut my hand off because I wanted da-da-da-da or whatever. But why just part the nipple?
And I don't know if this guy should get in trouble. These people willingly went to this man.
Yes.
They chose to go to someone who is not qualified, knowing he's not qualified, knowing they weren't getting a medical procedure in the sense of, I need help.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't, make himself out to be like a doctor and not be a doctor. You know what I'm saying?
According to the reports here.
He's a cult leader. That's all.
I don't think he's a cult leader.
It sounds like a cult.
No, a
not
cult.
any cult I want to be.
No,
It definitely is a group
not.
of people that believe in something, but a cult leader would be like, I can get you to the promised land.
Mm-hmm. Just give me your testicles first.
Yeah.
What's the price to the promised land? You nuts.
But if you're like, I want to look like a Ken doll, and somebody goes, I know a guy.
Right.
That guy that does it is hardly a cult leader.
No.
He's just the guy with the hatchet.
Yeah. Bodily harm is the only thing I can think of. But again, like you said, these people willingly went there. So.
If I call Gimpy up and I'm like, hey, come over and kick my ass. And he shows up at my house, we go into my living room and he kicks my ass. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't get in trouble.
Right, because you asked for it. Right. But I guess,
Always.
literally asked for it. But, if you want to be a bitch about it, be like, you came over and kicked my ass. You asked for it. Uh-huh.
That's different. If after the fact you go, hey, I didn't know this was going to happen.
Right.
Then I think you may have some legs to stand. You may have a case.
Yeah.
But it sounds like most of these people are like, hell yeah. I know what I'm signing up for. And it doesn't sound like he charged them. It sounds like he made his money off showing the video to the group. Uh-huh. So now you got a group of people who are okay with getting castrated by a non-medical individual. And 2, you got a bunch of people who want to watch those videos.
There's a lot going on there.
And then you have someone who's like, I can watch a YouTube video. I'm sure I can figure it out. I've never castrated a pipe, but I could figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about this.
Your best friend goes, hey, or your best girlfriend calls up and tells you her husband is like, I just found out he's into he wants to get castrated. Or Gimpy showing up at your house and like, hey man, I just wanted to let you know I'm going to go to Bob's house. He lives in Boggy Depot.
Yeah.
In a hut. And he's going to perform surgery and take my manhood because, man, I've always wanted to be Ken.
I hope the first question out of her mouth is, are you okay mentally?
Yeah, exactly. No, I can't let you do this. You could die.
You can't talk people out of stuff.
Yeah, once their mind is made up, that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do.
It's easier to talk them into something than it is to talk them out of it. Once they've decided.
all you can do is just lay out all the options available and hope that they make the right choice. Well, here's a list of why you need your testicles.
Right.
And here's a list of reasons why you may not. And we'll have a nice, healthy discussion. And hopefully at the end you can see things my way.
I think you bring up an interesting point. I think I would probably say something to the effect of like, hey, are you aware of what happens after?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you won't have a penis anymore. Yeah, I'm done having kids. I don't think I need it. Okay. Because I hardly am your friend because you have a penis.
Right.
So if you want to lop it off, that's on you. But then I would probably go, and what if you get an infection? How do you trust this individual to know what they're doing?
How are you going to go pee?
Right. What's the DEF?
Right.
Is there a waiting room? Is there a recovery room? Will they give you medicine for infection? Because the number one cause of death after surgery is infection.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know you don't like to go see doctors. However.
Yeah, I'm not going to one.
Exactly. This seems like something you want to see a doctor for.
Need to go see a head doctor.
Right.
Nah.
Well, you kind of, right?
I'm no quack. And how big's the leap of faith from any type of body modification to this?
Yeah.
Well, I think
they're on the same continent.
They are on the same continent. Let's just pretend that continent is Australia. Okay, everybody knows what Australia looks like. Tattoos and body piercings is like, on one side, and then chopping your nuts off because you want to look like a Ken doll is like way over there on the other side. Well, it's like, I would even say it's more New Zealand. Right, because New Zealand's still part of Australia. It's a little island off on the side there. It's like tattoos and piercings, and then down there you see New Zealand. That's castration.
Yeah, I think on the far spectrum would be tattoos, but people get things inserted under their skin to have horns.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that is bizarre. But I mean, whatever. Do what you want to do. I'm not saying that, these people are wrong for wanting to do this. I'm just saying they're weird.
Probably. I know I say this a lot, but it might be an argument for that we're in a simulation, that people do this.
Right. What if they're going to this guy because they say, listen, what if they are sickos in the head and say, I mean, they obviously are sick in the head because they want this done, but what if the reason they want it done is because they have feelings for minors?
Well, typically that's not how it works.
I don't think that's
You're implying there's a self-awareness factor
right,
there. Yeah,
right.
No.
And they want to change.
No.
Or they want to
Cutting
do
your
something
testicles
about
off
it.
is not going to stop you from liking,
Castration is not a means to end pedophilia.
Yeah. Because that's a brain thing right there. That's not going to fix it. That might stop you from getting aroused. Right? Sexually aroused by, minors or whatever.
Or anything.
Visually,
yes. But still mentally, that's in your head. And they don't have doctors for that to cut your head off.
The thing that I keep going back to is, and Lindsay said it was like, they're crazy. I don't know if they're crazy. It's body modification. So in the terms of, is body modification crazy?
Some people would say, yeah, any form of it, tattoos, piercings, whatever.
Breast augmentations.
Breast augmentation, yes.
Butt implants, lip injections, skin tightening.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing for this. I'm saying overwhelmingly people are like, well, they're crazy. Well, they may have taken it to an extreme.
Right.
But they're no more crazy than anyone else who does body modification.
Absolutely. People look at us with all of our tattoos and like, oh, man, all those needles going in you. That's crazy, man. Yeah, well, to us, we like it. And we feed off of that. Oh, God, it's a great feeling. I want to get tattooed now. Anyway.
Tattooed.
But yeah. It's your deal. If you want to go without them, have at it.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back.
You're listening to the Big Mad Morning Show. This is Tulsa's
Day Spa. Poppies. Day
Corbin.
Spa or dispensary. Corbin.
That
yes.
is a day spa.
Yes, you are correct. Poppies is a day spa. 2-1 so far. Corbin's lead. OHG, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Dispensary.
That is correct.
What'd you say?
OHG. That's all it is. These are all the ones. I just found them on Google.
Sure.
I just simply Googled day spa and then Googled dispensaries and then found a bunch of them that are really close.
I just
and
couldn't
could be
hear. I didn't hear
confused.
you because you were going so fast. I didn't hear you. I didn't know it was
I
letters.
wonder what that stands for.
I have no idea. Nonetheless, moving forward, 918 Elevate, Day Spa or Dispensary. 918 Elevate.
Corbin.
Corbin, yes.
Dispensary.
That is correct. Corbin's in the lead, 3-2. One Love Wellness, Day Spa.
Corbin.
You got to pick it up, Lindsay. Corbin, yes.
That is a dispensary.
Corbin, One Love Wellness is indeed a
Wow.
dispensary. Yes. Corbin killing it right now. Lotus Blossom,
Corbin.
Day Spa or Dispensary. Corbin.
That is a dispensary.
Ah, you are wrong, my friend.
You
Lotus-
might need to.
Lotus
Okay.
Blossom is a day spa. Go ahead, Google
I
it.
know there's a dispensary called Lotus.
There's one called Lotus Gold, not Lotus Blossom. See, and that's the fun part about this game because they can be
No, semantic,
they're
sure.
so close. All right, Indigo, day spa or dispensary? Lindsay.
That is a dispensary.
Indigo Lindsay is a day spa. So far, it's 4-2. Corbin's lead. Hand and Stone, day spa
Lindsay.
or dispensary? Lindsay.
Spa.
All right, Lindsay, you are correct on a comeback.
I've been there.
It's a 50-50 guess.
Right, of course. All right, Rosebuds, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
I'm going to go dispensary.
Lindsay would be correct. Rosebuds is a dispensary, tied up 4-4. Jade Wellness Center, day spa
Corbin.
or
Lindsay.
dispensary? Corbin.
That is a wellness. Or that is a day spa.
Corbin. Jade Wellness Center is a dispensary. Still tied 4-4. Deluxe, day spa or
Corbin.
dispensary? Corbin.
That is a spa.
Corbin, you are incorrect. Deluxe is a dispensary. Nature's Kiss.
I think that's both, actually.
Who knows? This is just the information that
who
was
cares if
given.
it's accurate?
Yeah. All right, Nature's Kiss, day spa or dispensary?
Corbin.
Corbin, yes.
That is a dispensary.
That is correct, my friend. Corbin just made 5-4. Aqua Viva Oasis, day
Lindsay.
spa or dispensary? Lindsay.
Spa.
Lindsay is correct. All right, so we're tied up 5-5. Fig Medical, day spa or dispensary?
Corbin.
Corbin.
That is a dispensary.
Corbin, that is incorrect. Fig Medical is a day spa.
I was thinking because like sweet,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
like sometimes you know it smells like
You're
a fig.
thinking medical marijuana.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
All right. All right. Remember, this is for a big prize at the end of the
Sure.
at the end of the game here.
Sure.
You are going to love the prize that I have
Leftovers.
chosen.
Leftovers.
Right, it's a
Okay.
roach.
Right. Right.
Bong
and
water.
not the one you smoke.
It's the crumbs.
Laura Apothecary, day
Lindsay.
spa or dispensary? Lindsay.
Dispensary.
Lindsay is incorrect. The
Yeah, it's a
Laura
spa.
Apothecary is a day spa. Lucky Garden, day spa or dispensary?
Corbin.
Corbin, yes.
That's a dispensary.
Lucky Garden, Corbin is a day spa. So far, we got 6 to Corbin and 5 to Lindsay. The Health Center, day spa or
Oh,
dispensary?
Corbin.
Corbin, yes.
That is a dispensary.
That is correct. You sound like you've been there before.
To me, the name was just so obvious. There's no
Right.
way you're going to call an actual spa that.
Right, the Health Center. Supreme Heights, day spa or
Corbin.
dispensary? Corbin.
That is a dispensary.
Corbin would be correct. All right, so we're looking at 8-5, Lindsay.
Okay.
All right, we're down in the home stretch of this thing. All right. The Enchanted Cottage, day
Corbin.
spa or dispensary? Corbin.
That is a dispensary.
Corbin is incorrect. That is a day spa.
Why are people calling here asking if we have weed?
Got any specials on an ounce, man?
It's called Enchanted.
Wildflower, day spa
Corbin.
or dispensary? Corbin.
That is a dispensary.
That is incorrect, Corbin. Wildflower is a day spa. All right, Clover Patch, Tulsa, day spa or
Lindsay.
dispensary? Lindsay.
Dispensary.
Lindsay would be correct.
What's the score?
6-8.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show. 918-460-KMOD. Lindsay, what'd you learn today?
I learned of a guy who ate from a castration charcuterie board And I also learned that Gimpy and his brother, or Gimpy had his brother help him circumcise his pipe this weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Gimpy, what'd you learn today?
I learned that Lindsay just needs something bigger. Sorry, Kevin. I also learned that she got a nut bag for Mother's Day.
I learned that I've heard my wife say she has a cold before, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I also learned that Bob's castration, you won't have the balls to do it a second time. It's Corbin saying, make sure that dishwasher's loaded right.
It's Lindsay. Stop tracking my cycle.
This is Gimpy, and I'm sorry. Bella Roma Medical, day spa or dispensary? Corbin.
Dispensary.
Corbin, Bella Roma Medical is a day spa. Stonebrook, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Spa.
Yes, you are correct, Lindsay. We are now 9-8, neck and neck. Who is going to win, day spa or dispensary, and walk away with a big, big prize? Stone Age Meds, day spa
Corbin.
or dispensary? Corbin.
That is a spa.
Corbin. The Stone Age Meds is a dispensary. Uptown Wellness, day spa or dispensary?
Corbin.
Corbin.
That is a spa.
Corbin. Uptown Wellness is a dispensary.
Really?
We only got 2 left here.
Okay.
All right. So we got a chance to tie it and a breaker if we can do this. All right. Pura, day spa or
Corbin.
dispensary? Corbin.
Dispensary.
Corbin is correct. Pura is a dispensary. Puts him with the win, 10-8. I'll go ahead and give you the last one. See if you can guess it. Stonebrook, day spa or dispensary?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Spa.
Lindsay would have been correct, which wouldn't matter because it's 10-9. Corbin is the big winner. Congratulations, Corbin.
What'd I get?
You want to know what you got?
Yeah.
My friend, I tell you, you have won my leftover potatoes. That's right, Corbin. I had dinner last night.
I love it. That's awesome, man. I'm actually kind of hungry, so I think that's a fantastic
This is
gift.
perfect.
And you're not a horrible cook.
No.
So that's great. But, I just think it's just an honor to win. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Lindsay. She put in a valiant effort.
Listen, Corbin,
And, I just appreciate the competitiveness. And, I'm just one guy on a team, and we're just a team trying to make the thing happen. And, it's an honor to be a part of the Ford Truck Series and anything I can do to make this Hilton Hotel team do the best they can.
Well, Corbin, I'm glad that you accepted and decided to give your prize of potatoes to the loser of the game, but that's not all that you're going to win. All right? So not only do you get my leftover dinner from last night, my potatoes and a little bit of steak with some cheese on top, I'm also going to hook you up with a 6-pack of Twisted Tea. Set right up front because nobody wants this. So I grabbed a pack and you get to take it home with you.
Again, you put
Twisted
zero
Tea.
effort into the prize.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just real grateful that this Hilton Honors team did the best they could, and we'll make sure part of the Ford Truck Series continues. So I'd like to give it to my second place because second isn't winning. So
Twisted Tea is a great beer fridge for guests.
Right.
item.
Well, congratulations, Lindsay. You got yourself some old mushed potatoes and some warm Twisted Tea for losing on Day Spa or Dispensary.
2 Subway employees shot over too much mayo.
okay, I was like sandwich or
Yes.
tunnel.
In Atlanta, police responded to a shooting at a Subway location inside of a Circle K. Reportedly, a customer became irate when too much mayonnaise was squirted onto his sandwich. That's when he allegedly opened fire, hitting 2 female employees, one of which was fatally wounded, and the other is in serious condition. The store's owner says a third employee fired back at the unnamed gunman.
What?
Yeah, but he
A
missed.
third employee. That means the employee had a gun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, by God, we got to save them sandwiches somehow, Corbin.
Yeah. The suspect is in custody. Police said that the woman was 26 years old. A 24-year-old employee was shot in front of her 5-year-old son. She's the one that's in critical condition. The woman was hit twice after she pushed her son out of the way under the counter to keep him from being hurt. The co-owner of the Subway said that a third worker had definitely shot at the gunman. He missed, but at least he put up a little fight, he said. Atlanta police officer said that this was a case of someone with a gun who didn't know how to resolve conflict without resorting to violence. They did not release the identity of the worker who was killed because they were still waiting for family members to be informed. but said both of the employees were young women who had just started at the location about 3 weeks ago. And the customer had been in the Subway location before without ever having an incident. The interim chief of police said so far arguments are the majority cause of homicides this year in Atlanta.
There's a lot going on in this story.
Boy, I tell you.
Your 5-year-old kid was there?
Yeah.
That's what I thought was bizarre. Okay, I get it. You got to go to work and can't find a babysitter, but
Or can't afford one?
Or I
Can't
was
afford
thinking
one.
too, or maybe she was going to get off in like 20 minutes and, maybe the dad dropped the child off.
No,
And
no, that's also not okay.
yeah, I know.
It's a weird thing for the 5-year-old to be there. Two, another employee had a gun on him.
Yeah.
The other thing too with Subways, they're everywhere.
right.
There was a time that I believe there were more Subways than McDonald's and Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and all that. They were the most widely dispersed chain.
Yeah, especially for sub sandwiches. Faux show. They had the corner market there. But then some other places started
I think
coming
they're
out.
still pretty high up on the list.
You think so?
Absolutely. You go anywhere, there's a Subway.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They've got 'em
Anywhere.
inside,
They're so
gas stations
easy.
and stuff.
It's not like a Chick-fil-A, right? Like you go, there are towns that just don't have Chick-fil-A's. I would bet almost every town has a Subway
Oh, yeah.
sandwich shop.
And if you're putting too much mayonnaise on mine, I'm giving you a tip. If I don't have to ask for it.
Here's the deal. You can tell them to stop anytime because
Yeah.
you're sitting there watching them make your sandwich. You see how much of everything that they put on. You could have been like, whoa, dial it back on the mayonnaise,
Yeah.
man.
Or you can say light mayo or
Right, but what's light mayo?
light on the mayo.
Yeah, but how much is
so
light? Your light
a
and my
little
light are
squirt.
not the same.
Yeah.
And I'm the artist here.
All right. These are the most
True.
popular sandwich chains in America. Okay? This is what it says. Blimpie? Have you ever had a Blimpie?
Yeah.
I have, but it's not most popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most locations,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because I can name my favorite sandwich shop, but it's not everywhere.
Right.
And I would wager the majority of people in this town have never eaten at it, right? So you can't go with most popular. You have to have which sandwich shop has the most locations.
Largest sandwich chain in the U.S. Oh, here we go. Fun. This is as of 2020, so it's a couple of years old. But it says largest sandwich chain. So does that quantify?
I think so, yeah.
As it could be.
Sure.
Okay. Continue to the site. Subway comes in at number 6.
Oh.
It has their rankings on.
What's
here.
number one?
I got to scroll down. It doesn't have the number 1 listed on the quick list.
Well, what's number 5?
Listen, here's how it goes. 6, 18, 34, 46, 58, 63, 69, 89, 99, 100. There's nothing really. It says
Okay.
rank in there.
Okay. So, all right. So the list you're looking at, those are sandwich ones on the list. So the number 1 sandwich shop is Subway, but it comes on number 6 of all, like probably fast food.
Probably so. U.S. sales and U.S. units. Subway did 10,000. This is the 2019 numbers. Did $10,000 in 2019 with 23,801 units. So is that sandwiches sold?
Or locations.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is when you go, there's been many times I haven't said light mustard or whatever, but sometimes I get more and sometimes I get less. There's no consistency with the.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of that's on the sandwich maker, sandwich artist, whatever you want.
I am confident that after her 2 weeks of working there, she had diligent training.
She sat back there and watched the videos, man, before she started the job.
There's no video.
There's no orientation videos.
Watch Spider.